Yeah, we designated spitters live every week. Live, designated homie, cause we spit heat. We designated spitters, Francis and Pete. Yes, talking Yankee baseball, hip hop for the streets. Yup, we designated. Yup, we innovative. Yup, we designated spitters. Time that you know. Yup, we designated. Yup, we innovative. Yup, we designated spitters. Let's start the show.
What is better than a Designated Spittaz live? I don't think there's much else in this world that is better than this. It's been a while, man. It's been a while since we actually went live like this. I don't think we've done this in a while.
It's been a second, man. We've been trying to wait for, something good, I guess, to go live about, but they're really trying to hold us back, Pete.
God, I tell you, man. I think my fiance left. She said she had to go to the store. I think she ran away because I couldn't stop screaming all day about this news, to be honest. So if she never comes back, it's been a good 14 years.
had a good run. We had a good run.
we had a good run together. It's been wonderful, and yeah, man, I appreciate it. But yeah,
but like Michael K says, life is a series of hellos and goodbyes.
That's it. That's it, man. That's it. That is it. God, man, like we're gonna go in on a lot of stuff. Put it that way. I got the coffee. This is like the fourth coffee today. Mind you, I'm not even a coffee drinker. This is like the fourth one today.
Here's what I got. Here's what I got.
Well, you got a baby bottle. You know, come on. Who was the guy? What movie was that again?
Yeah, I know what time it is.
What's the movie again, man? They made the parody of it. The parody. Remember they were making parodies of like Boys in the Hood, and the one dude had a little baby bottle all the time.
Don't be a menace.
Without drinking your juice in the hood.
While you're drinking juice in South Central.
South Central. Yeah. That's some funny shit because there was a character on it that actually had the little binky in his mouth all the damn time and shit.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Dog.
That's who. There you go. That's who Francis is being today. But it's not even Halloween.
Nah, man.
Fam, I tell you, man. So everybody, real quick, thank you guys for being in here, guys. Just FYI, so you know, I will try to pay attention to both. I don't know how easy it's gonna be done because I really believe that, I'm gonna be going wild while we're talking about this because I'm fed up, man, and it's. I really am. I'm very tired of what is going on with Major League Baseball. I say it every time. Maybe it's selfish reasons. We got our selfish reasons to be a little upset about this. So, maybe it is that. But I tell you what, there's a lot for me to be angry about. And as a baseball fan, I think there's a lot to be angry about in general.
That's a fact.
That's kind of where I am. But really quick, before anybody moves any forward, subscribe to this page if you have not. We greatly appreciate it. Again, we still have goals that we are trying to reach. As Francis said earlier, baseball is kind of screwing us right now. So it's affecting our game plan as a team of what we're trying to do. And also to go to Apple Podcasts. You could just look up NyynewsTV. You'll see all of our podcasts. So I'm not only asking for you to go there and give a 5-star review to Designated Spittaz, but please do it to the entire lineup of shows we have at NyynewsTV because it greatly helps us. So guys, if you've done that already, I thank you. If you have not, please go ahead and do that. So again, everybody that is in here, thank you. Let us get the show started. Francis, by the way, do you have anything else that you want to add before we jump into this madness that we are in right now?
Yeah, no, with everything you just said, guys, I do want to thank everybody who's gone and given us that 5-star rating already on Apple Podcasts. We definitely appreciate that.
Francis, put the bottle in the air.
Salute. Oh, that's a fact. Salute. we appreciate that. We appreciate that. But yeah, if you're in the chat right now and you haven't had the opportunity to go and subscribe to the Designated Spittaz podcast, and more so just all the podcasts on NyynewsTV, because we do in fact have a channel on Apple Podcasts. So we want you to subscribe to all the podcasts because, we're not selfish in that regard. I'm selfish to the point that it comes to our channel. So I want you guys to subscribe to all the podcasts on our channel, Designated Spittaz, the fellas, NYYST, Twin Bill, who are doing a phenomenal job every single week. It seems like that podcast gets better. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Your favorite morning radio show. I know you guys are missing that.
He's back.
Coming back
Felix
soon.
is in DR. He's having an amazing time. It was just his birthday. Trust me,
shouts
he's having
out
a
to
good
Felix.
time. I understand why it hasn't been completed. I get it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's coming back, guys. Don't worry about that.
And Chef Talk and Guillen's World, like definitely guys, subscribe to all of them. Leave a 5-star review. Leave comments. Like if you got some feedback for us, man, leave it there. We're checking that stuff. We wanna make the show better for you guys, the fans, because you guys are who we do it for. And unlike the MLB owners and the Players Association, we actually do care about our fans.
Very much.
And we actually do take into account what you guys are thinking and saying. So let us know.
Yep. I 100% agree with everything you said. Jumping right, Brad already in the comments. I feel a Pete rant incoming. I don't want to, guys. I really don't want to rant. I'm just fed up, man. But anyway, before we jump into all that, let's do what we should do. Let's talk about today's proposal. Let me read off what MLBPA made in their proposal today, and then we can get into it. And I got some questions for the fans. Francis, I got some questions for you, as always. Yeah. We'll go back and forth on a lot of this stuff. So here's what happened today, guys. The details of Sunday's proposal would grant MLB the ability to implement 3 specific on-field changes with a 45-day notice starting not in 2022, but this would have to start in 2023. So we'd have a full regular season with regular rules. But then the pitch clock would be added, larger bases, and shift restrictions. So not that you can't do a shift. My understanding is it's a restriction to the shift. MLB also wants robot umps with 45 days notice. Players didn't offer. Pre-arbitration pool starting at $80 million. That is down from the $85 million they previously asked for. No change in the CBT or minimums. If direct draft pick compensation qualify offer goes away, MLBPA now is okay with other CBT-related penalties, sometimes called non-monetary penalties. Some revenue sharing changes are still on the table for the Players Association, and that is the overall big thing. I don't think I missed anything, Francis. Is there anything that you're aware of that I might have missed?
No.
I think those are the big targets, right?
The CBT stuff all stood the same. They didn't move.
Correct. They didn't move off of that at all. So my understanding is, so we can kind of start where both sides are, is that the pre-arbitration pool, they're off by $40 million. Is that correct? Or $50 million? The
pre-arbitration, you talking about the pre-arbitration bonus pool?
Yes. I think it's 50.
30. If they're at 80, the league is at 25 million. And
okay, so even more than that.
The players are at 80. If you wanted to start with that, I could just give my thoughts on that.
We could start anywhere. I just want to go over how apart they are.
Oh yeah,
so
yeah.
There's still a
right
chunk
there. Yeah, right there. They're 55 million.
55 million apart.
On CBT, they're 30. The league maxes out at 30. The players want to max it out at 263, so they're 33 million apart.
Okay, so we know all that already. And my understanding is they've already increased some salary for minor leaguers. That part's somewhat done. They still want a little more.
Yeah, the owners are up to about $700,000, which is a huge increase.
And the players want 725. Is that correct?
The players are at 725,000.
So here's where I want to start.
That's literally $25,000. It's gonna sound crazy to say that that's nothing. But for these negotiations, $25,000 might as well be $2.50.
Fact.
Like it's really nothing.
Right.
It's really nothing. The base minimum salary, they're really close on that. I don't see that being an issue.
So here's where I want to start on this one. I got one big question to ask, and this is for you, Francis. This is for the guy, everybody out there in the chat, the ladies and gentlemen in the chat, whoever's out there. One big question. And then I'm going to get to the owners. I'm going to get to everybody because I got a lot to say today. Not that I don't always have a lot to say, but I have a lot to say. What do the players want? What is this? I think this is just a great question right now of where we are right now. What is the main want from the players? What is it that they have come into these meetings and said, we need this? And how does this improve Major League Baseball? What is it?
I think. Okay, so I'm gonna give my answer. But I'm gonna be honest with you guys. My answer is opinionated, and it's opinionated because of the way that these negotiations have gone.
And that's fine. That's fine.
What I feel the players want, honestly, the last part of your question, I don't necessarily know if what they want is to better the game. As much as I want to believe that, and trust me, I do in my heart of hearts, I want to believe that the players who play this game want to better the game. At this point, it's gotten to this place where it can't just be about bettering the game. Because one thing that we all know for sure, and I'm sure no matter where you come from and what side you fall on, one thing we all can agree on is that this lockout is not bettering the game. It's not bettering the game for the players. It's not bettering the game for the owners. It's not bettering the game for the stadium vendors, for the people who work the parking lots and the concessions and the stands. And it sure as fuck isn't bettering the game for us, the fan. So if the players want to stand on that at this point, it seems a little flimsy for you guys to say that, you know, bettering the game is something that you're trying to do now. Yes. Have they made proposals to change, you know, certain things about how the game is played? That's been done on both sides. But again, it's being masqueraded as improvements to the game, right? And I don't feel like it is. I feel like what people want at the end of the day is my answer to the first part of your question. What do the players want? Money. To put it simply, money. And not just more money on their end, but I don't think some players, not all, but I feel like there are some people and players in this camp that won't be fully satisfied with just making more money, but they want to also feel like the owners are making less. Like, it's not just about them making more, but they need to walk away feeling that they took something from the owners, because it's like a personal vindictive thing for some of them. For some of them. I
was just gonna say it's starting to feel like a grudge match.
That's where I'm at.
It's starting to feel like a grudge match. It really is.
Exactly.
So, you know,
certain things are,
I'll be honest, Francis. I thought there might actually be some disagreement between us on that, but I 100% agree. That's my question.
A week ago,
there might have been.
A week ago, I would have been a little bit easier on the players. But I've done a lot of research this week. I know Brad is in the comments. Me and Brad spoke a little bit about this on Twitter. I've done a lot of research into what was being said in that players room. And it's like, we'll get into it later, but like at this point, I'm sorry, but you can't tell me that it's not about anything other than money at this point.
It's all about
not just money, but I'm talking about huge money. Because if you're talking about the 2/3 of the league that's making close to the $700,000, they're happy with what they're getting in the deal that the owners proposed before they left Jupiter.
150%.
Yeah. And that was something that I wasn't sure about yet. Like last Sunday, I was like, I want to see where players are at with the minimum salary, with the bonus pool. I want to see where they're at with like the draft pick compensation, like who. And you know what the truth is? A lot of players, and you can do the same research that I did. Go on Twitter, read some of the players' tweets that aren't getting retweeted and picked up by mainstream media, because there's a narrative that's being created by the media, which is another thing I can't wait to get into, because I have a theory about that now that I just came up with this week. But there's a narrative that's being pushed by the mainstream media, and they're only picking up certain players' tweets and responses that fit that narrative. Your Max Scherzers, your Marcus Stromans, your guys like that. There's other guys who are tweeting, and it's like I'm in like a cat like tough space, because it's like I'm like, all right, who, like, do I name people? Do I put people out or whatever? And it's like, I don't know. But what I'm gonna start doing this week is I'm gonna start retweeting a lot of this, just so that you can see both sides.
Yeah. Because
some players have actually spoken favorably about parts of the deal that was offered on the table before the players walked away in Jupiter. And the reason that they spoke positively was because only a third of the league ever gets to those huge contracts. I'm talking Strasburg, Scherzer, Cole, Tatis, Rendon, Arenado.
This has been my argument the whole time.
Like, this is only roughly a third of the league when we're arguing tooth and nail about the luxury tax threshold, which I've said since the beginning, and I haven't moved off that point. I still think that the threshold needs to be a little bit higher, but 263 is a little bit crazy. And the reason I say it's a little bit crazy is because if the minimum salary is already at 700,000, which I don't see a world where the owners
and by the way, they could get more than that.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. I don't see a world where the owners just say 725 is absolutely off the table. It's impossible. It's $25,000. It's $25,000 for 2/3 of the league, but it still remains $25,000. They're not living and dying on that. So they're paying they're paying the minimum salary is going up ridiculously, like a crazy percentage. Trust me, people like me and you have never got a raise like that in our natural born lives.
It's another great point. I brought up this point earlier when me and my fiance was talking about it. Think about it with normal work.
Yeah, you never get that kind of raise. What the minimum salary was? What I think like $550 or something like that. $525. They're talking about upping it $150,000 to $175,000. That's a ridiculous raises. The city. If you work for a city organization, meaning like a state-run federal funded organization, their raises are like 2%.
2%, yeah.
2%.
Yeah.
You know how much more than 2%, $175,000 on a raise would be for the minimum salary? Trust me, these guys in the minor leagues right now are salivating at the idea of getting called up to a salary like that.
And there's a lot more of them than there are the little 1% guys making all this money.
Exactly. Then that.
So this goes back to why I asked the question.
Mm-hmm.
Because I am sick and tired. I am so tired of this narrative that the players are just looking out to make baseball better. Enough of that bullshit. It's bullshit. I don't know any other way to say it. It's complete, utter bullshit. Because you just said it. The majority of the league, the majority of guys coming up are going to get a gigantic raise. And I can tell you right now, all of them want that. You're not going to find one of them that's going to sit back and go, no. No, I don't want the 7-something. Then if I know how good my talent is, I could get up to $2 million, $2.6 million, whatever it might be. They did it with Corbin Burns. They said he would have made $2.6 million or something like that last year. Yeah. So yes, is that comparable to Mike Trout? Is that comparable? No. But you're going to sit back and say, so this is what I talked about when I talked about wins for the Players Association.
But here's, even with the Corbin Burns thing. Exactly. I was going to say, Corbin Burns is amazing. If he was to make $2.6 million last year, I think that's perfect. I don't see a world where he needs to be making Mike Trout money at this stage in the game. Why? Because that's what baseball has been predicated on. These guys, they come up, they prove themselves, they get to free agency, and then they get paid. You're never going to change that. I'm sorry.
Not at all.
No matter how hard you battle and fight against, you're never going to change that. The owners would be, you'd have to drug them. You literally have to drug them to get them to agree to changing that.
Can I say something else too? So I covered a little bit of what I think on the player side. We're going to still get into more because there's so much more to talk about. I know things are going to pop in our heads as we go because there really is a lot to cover here. Mm-hmm. But if the players sit back and go, okay, we got the W because it's an amazing thing for the players that are negotiating this to be like, hey, guys, we're the ones that got you that money. We fought tooth and nail to get, we even may lose some money to help you guys get more money. So we can actually go out and be like, hey, look, our heads held high. We got W's. We got multiple W's. We got the draft pick compensation taken away. CBT may go up, whatever it's going to be. I'm going to get to the CBT and we'll talk about that. But going backwards on that, the owners, I want to talk about this because this is where I get very upset and I just feel like it's annoying. So off the top of my head, I'm gonna repeat this so everybody hears me and understands that I'm not just sitting back in a pro-owner mindset because I'm not. So again, disclaimer, this is not me just saying the owners can do whatever they want, which they kind of can, but I'm not saying they've done nothing wrong. Let me just say that before I talk about this. Mm-hmm. I hear this a lot. The owners don't like baseball. The owners don't like baseball. There's an owner out there that doesn't like baseball. There's owners who don't like baseball. Newsflash. They don't have to. They don't have to.
It's at the end. It's a business.
Francis, you have billions of dollars, right? You say, oh shit, look, Chelsea's available, the soccer team. I'm rich enough to buy it. I never watched a fucking day of soccer. Hey, Pete. Hey, Francis. You and Pete go into business and buy that? 5 to 10 years down the line, you're going to double in value. Buy it.
Yeah, straight up.
I don't know shit about soccer, though. You don't have to. That's what you got people around. You
Straight
don't have
up.
to.
Yeah.
So this is the issue that they say, well, owners don't like baseball. They don't have to like the game. It is an investment to them. They are businessmen. There are owners that want their team to be better. There are owners that love baseball.
There are some who do love baseball.
And there's some who just don't. So this idea that they're all going to be the same, they're not. Folks, another thing for you, they don't have to spend money. This is just realistic. Should they? Yes. We all think the right thing to do is that they make that money, they put it back into the organization. But folks, they do not have to. And this is the issue that that they face, because the idea of it is billionaires, millionaires, they're always bad. They're always the bad guy. They have to be, because they got all this money and they're not giving enough to the product on the field when they should be. You can make that argument all day long. I will continue to say the same thing, because the same thing is just true. They don't have to love baseball. They don't have to put more money than they need to into their club. They don't have to. Until Major League Baseball itself comes out with something that states, and they probably never will, because I don't think the owners would agree to it. Mm-hmm. If you buy this club, you must maintain a $50 million salary minimum. But that's never going to happen.
Here's my thing when it comes to owners, because Mantle 7 in the chat mentioned that, for the owners, it's also about money. Please understand, like, when I say that for the players, it's about money, I'm not saying that for the owners, it isn't.
Of course it is.
I'm going to make no mistake about it. It's about money.
Francis, that's how they said it earlier. Why do they want the more playoff games?
Because it's money.
Money.
It's money. The playoff deal is all about that $100 million or $85 million deal that's still hanging on with ESPN for the rights to that playoff series. But let's break it down a little bit more for the owners, right? Yes, it's about them making money, but it's also about them, being businesses. And some of these guys, yes, they don't like baseball, but they love business, and they love the business of making money. And part of making money is turning a profit, right? Profit is based on the revenue that you're making off of the product that you have. So while I hear a lot of you saying, well, the issue is, like, we need a salary floor, the owners are never going to agree to a salary floor that's attached to an actual number, because it would be unfair.
Right.
Why? Because every team brings in a different amount of revenue.
Yep.
It's not like with the Yankees, where the Yankees are going to, bring in $700 million to $800 million in revenue a year and more. Like, if you think about certain, like, deals and stuff like that. But that's the New York Yankees, right? The Dodgers are somewhere close to that. The Red Sox, with their large local TV network deals and shit like that. The Orioles don't bring even half of that.
Right, the Marlins.
The Orioles, the Orioles, and I got it pulled up here. In 2008, they had $174 million in revenue. And in 09, 171. In 2010, 175. 2011, 179. 2012, 206. 2013, 198. 2014, bumped up 245. Then it's 239, 253, 252, 251. 2019, 256 before COVID comes and drops them back to a whopping 115 million.
So that's
they lost
almost 100 million.
They lost more than 50% in revenue from 2019 to 2020. Now, a team like the Orioles has been a team that gets, targeted, for not spending and tanking and all that other stuff. But if in their best year, they only made $256 million in revenue, you can't put a salary floor of $100 million and say that it's fair to them the same way it's fair to the Yankees. $100 million
is very high.
It's ridiculously high.
Yeah, $100 million is very, very high.
Think about $100 million for the Yankees comes out of a $800 million revenue.
Right.
But for the Orioles, it'd be coming out of a $250 million revenue. That's not fair.
Correct. Not
which
at
is
all.
Which is why I've suggested last season, and I'll continue to do so, that if there ever is going to be talks about a salary floor, to me, it's got to be percentage based.
That makes sense. Percentage based off your revenue.
Based off your revenue.
It can't
be a specific number. It can't be, because even if you said, okay, 100's high. Let's say 50 million. Let's say 75. Well, 50 million is pretty low. There's currently like 3 or 4 teams who are under 60
it.
million. Yeah, already. Like, you know what I mean? So 50 million is low. So there's going to be a lot of people who fight against that. 75 sounds pretty fair, but even 75
I still feels high for some teams.
For some of them it is going to be high. And
But
when
see-
you go
But
through
see,
the revenue,
that's
it's just,
the thing
they don't
here.
make that money.
But here's the thing, and this is why I think, you know, we do sit here and we go, there's a solution to these things.
Mm-hmm.
And if you wanted to fix baseball, that is literally one of the greatest ways you could fix it. Because that does put the owners on the spot. And guess what it also does? It allows a team like the Pirates, let's say, for example, to go, oh shit, you know what? We may not be smart to go sign talent, but what we can do is force ourselves to have a real meeting with a Brian Reynolds, with a Key Brian Hayes, with O'Neal Cruz, who's coming up. A lot of the guys that are young, maybe we could get a Ronald Acuna deal out of some of these guys.
Mm-hmm.
So it would almost force them into doing something like that. So Mantle7 says there's 9 teams currently under 75. I still think 75. I would try to figure it out where it's around whatever the lowest team is at. A floor could be 50 or 55. I don't know the number. It's not my job to do this.
Yeah, again,
but I
don't
just
think
feel like there has to be, if Major League Baseball really sits back to players and goes, we need to fix it, I think that is one of the best ways to fix it. I truly believe that's one of the best ways to fix it.
I think at the end of the day, to be fair, what's fair, and a lot of people don't like to hear that word when we're talking about the owners, but at the end of the day, they're not going to agree to an unfair deal. And
Never.
what I've said in the past is a lot of what's going on now with these CBA negotiations has to do with the fact that the players in the past agreed to these deals that, yes, were unfair. And yes, maybe they didn't have the leverage. They didn't have the power to make a better deal. Yep. You could argue that and you could say that to your blue in the face, but I feel like at the end of the day, the bottom line is they signed on the dotted line to these deals that are now looked at as the most unfair thing but they agreed to it. Like, the only reason that the luxury tax threshold exists in baseball today is because players agreed to it in the 90s.
Yep.
They signed on that deal and said, we agree to there being a luxury tax and a threshold that if teams go over, they have to pay. They agreed to that. They didn't realize at the time that it was going to operate as a cap for a lot of teams or whatever. But that's where you got to have better representation. That's where you got to have better voices in the room. Yep. People who can, people who are forward thinkers who could tell you, hey, let's chill out on this right now because let's think about it. Again, hindsight is 2020. Maybe there was nobody at the time who could have predicted that eventually would have began to operate as a cap. But I feel like, again, hindsight's 2020. But personally, I just feel like there's no way that there was nobody who saw that, who didn't see this coming. Like, is how it is.
They knew it last year. They knew it last year. They knew it the year before. They knew this was coming due and what it was going to be like.
Look, Pittsburgh makes the same exact money as the Orioles. Same exact thing, literally. 08, 140. Then they made 145, 160, 168, 178. They jumped to 200 in 2013, a year before Baltimore. They went to 229, 244, 265, 258, 254. 2019, $273 million in revenue.
Holy
shit. Their best year. 2020, 116.
Yeah,
You're talking about teams that lost more than 50% of their revenue just like that.
Well, nobody wants to hear that. Unfortunately.
No, because they're like, oh, but it doesn't matter. It's like, yeah, I get it. We lost baseball.
You know what I mean?
Lost baseball.
It does
but
matter,
I'm like,
though.
It's a business, guys. That's the thing. How many businesses didn't recover? Like, let's be realistic here.
Thousands.
Let's be realistic here. COVID closed the doors on some businesses that the doors are never going to open again.
No.
Like, we're lucky. I mean, for some of you fans of small market teams out there, I know not many of you are in this chat because we're like Yankees based, but there's a lot of fans of small market teams out there that should be lucky that the owners still like are trying to operate that team. Now, do you want them to spend more money? Of course you do. Of course you do. But when I say lucky, I mean lucky in the sense that, you could have lost that team. You could have literally lost that. It could have gotten to the point where they said, look, dude, I went in a year because of a pandemic. I lost over 50% of revenue that I was expecting. I mean, I have to still pay people. I have to still do. This is just, I can't afford this. This is not turning out what I want it to be. I want to sell the team. And until then, I'm not really going to make any sales or anything like that. I'm not going to make any signings or anything like that. But those owners are still, chugging along. Why? Because they know that eventually they're going to get back to those high salaries that they made before the pandemic and exceed them.
Yep.
They're going to exceed them.
Of course they are.
It's a fact.
And let's be real here. When baseball comes back, it's going to be booming. Whether we sit here and talk about who is showing up to these games, how do we make, Gary Sheffield, Chef Talk. If you guys don't know, I see there's a couple of new people in there, so welcome to the channel. If you are new, please subscribe so you never miss it. NyynewsTV has a lot of different podcasts. This is just one of them. We do call this the flagship, though. We got a flagship. I mean, we were pre-NyynewsTV, so we got a flagship. We got that. We got that banner, baby. But, nah, man. Gary Sheffield Jr., who has a show Fridays at 7 o'clock, Chef Talk, he brought up, too, that there's not a lot of, they don't do the things they used to do anymore. Fans get to run on the field. Maybe kids come in cheaper or free even to get kids to love baseball again. There's a lot of work that Major League Baseball has to do. But, Francis, I'm happy that we can sit here and we could get away from the whole media narrative where it's like you have to be on the player's side unless you're the big bad guy in the room. And, we're able to do this because, look, we're just going to keep it honest and what we're seeing. We're not getting paid by MLB. We're not getting paid by the Players Association. Nobody is pushing us to come to our own narrative. We're just talking about what we see. And for me as a baseball fan, me as a business owner myself, I'm fed up. I'm completely fed up with how this thing is going. I think it's sickening. I think it's shameful for Major League Baseball on both sides because you know what? That whole player narrative is gone. Dump it out the window. Dump it out the window. You're looking to make baseball better by making bases bigger? By adding a pitch clock? By restricting this? By getting robot umps? That is making this game better? Overall, I can't get along with that narrative when I sit here and watch Major League players, like even you said, okay, the large chunk of these players are going to make more money based off what we know right now. That is a huge W. The DH is going to be in the National League. That is a huge W. The draft pick is going to come off of a qualified offer. That is a huge W. These are huge victories for players and money. And money. So now you hear them say, all right, look, maybe we'll talk about 14 teams. Maybe we'll talk about 12. Maybe we'll do it. Maybe we'll allow you to make all these dumbass rule changes. And that's the owners, by the way. I don't think they know what the shit they're doing with a lot of that stuff. But we'll make you make all these changes. We just want this CBT up to 262, whatever the hell it is. Great. So the Yankees, the Mets, the Phillies, the Dodgers, and a few, not Art Moreno, because I thought he would spend. He doesn't seem too interested in spending anything anymore.
He's just using the media.
So, again, here's what I wanted the player. I'll be tipping my cap right now to the players. I'll be doing this right now, tipping my cap to them. If their hard stance was, we're coming out here to make baseball better, and they were proving it by what they're doing. They ain't proving jack shit to me that they want to make this game better. I'm sorry. Money-wise, okay. Quality-wise, to get more fans there, you guys are killing it. Major League Baseball and the Players Association, you're killing it. You are turning fans off of baseball. You are getting people disgusted with Major League Baseball. We just had, I talked about it a while back, we just had a playoff in the National Football League where the San Francisco 49ers game, who I know is a very popular team across the nation, their ratings were through the damn roof. It was some of the best playoff ratings they ever had. The stadiums were packed. People want sports back. Look at the UFC. Dana White said the other night, they just had an event. Since COVID, they've had their best business. Because people want to come back no matter what inflation is, no matter what all this. People want their normal life back. They're craving it. They're craving to be able to go to a concert. They're craving to see baseball in person again. They're craving not to have all these restrictions all over them. They just want baseball back. So I'm not saying you sit back there and you just take a loss. And you go, okay, we know we asked for it. Let's just settle. I'm not asking anybody on either side to settle. What I'm asking you to do is to get fucking realistic here. That's what all I'm asking to be done. Let's get realistic. One side is saying 30 million. The other side says 80. That's a big friggin' gap to make a decision on. One side says, okay, we'll stay at 220. The other side says, no, 262. The CBT thing, I know me and you kind of, we've had our disagreements on the CBT thing, but I just sit back and I hear it and I just say, me personally, you want to increase it to 225 and it goes up to 232, 236, I don't care. I just don't understand why this is like this major holdup that nobody wants to budge on. That's the thing that really aggravates me about this, because it only assists the teams that spend. It's that simple. And for me, it makes no damn sense. It makes no damn sense.
It doesn't affect the small market teams. I mean, I for those of you who think that the CBT is being argued because the players are trying to get all the teams to spend more money, and that's not the case. They might be framing it like that, but that's not really what it is, guys. The CBT threshold going up, just the only thing it does is that it ensures that teams like the Yankees, now the Mets, the Boston Red Sox, the Los Angeles Dodgers, the Philadelphia Phillies, whenever they feel like spending, the Padres, who are big spenders now.
Can you repeat what you just said? Whenever they feel like spending.
Whenever they feel like
because
spending.
They don't have to.
No, they don't.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
None of them have to spend. The thing with the threshold is that if the thresholds aren't going up accordingly, then you're going to see things like what has happened with the Yankees over the past few years, where you have a Bryce Harper and a Manny Machado out there, but they have to bulk on it because they already have a Giancarlo Stanton and they're looking to the future and a Garrett Cole and maybe a Judge extension and things like that. Or what's happening right now, where they need a shortstop and Carlos Correa's out there, but smart money is on them not giving Correa $35 million a year because they don't want to be over the threshold like that much and have to pay taxes and things like that. When you raise that luxury tax threshold, it protects teams like the Yankees or the Mets or the Dodgers or whatever. Let's say the big spenders. Let's just call them that. You guys know the teams we're talking about. The teams that year in, year out are spending money, and when they're through with their tiny retool, rebuild windows, they start spending like crazy. Those teams. What the threshold does, as if it goes up, it protects them to continue spending. If the threshold were to stay at like the 214 that the owners originally proposed, then for instance, the Yankees would already be going into 2022 with the team that they have right now. They'd already be like almost over.
Right.
Or right. I mean, right now their salaries are projected to be 221 in some places, 211 in other places. Yeah. It's because of the arbitration projections, right?
Right.
But if the threshold was 214, you'd already have like the Yankees up over it, the Padres up over it, the Dodgers up over it, the Mets up over it, Boston close. A lot of teams would already like be like either there or already over or close to it. So the players fight to get it up to start at a place like they're saying 238. But I think if you could get it to start at around 230, it's fair enough, because that would be the first threshold. Now that the first threshold doesn't involve losing a draft pick and it only involves paying a 45% tax on your salary, if the first threshold is 230 and the second threshold is like, I don't know what, like 255 or whatever, basically the Yankees could have a salary of $254 million, right? Mm-hmm. And then they would only have to pay 114 on top of that. So you add that to the 254 and it comes out to $368 million spent just on salary, which seems like a lot. Here's the issue though. If that stayed at 220, 214 and they have 254 million of salary, they'd be paying the second tier of taxes, which would make them have to pay almost $450 million just in salary. The Yankees are not doing that.
Right.
Yes, they have the money. The Dodgers have the money. The Red Sox have the money. The Padres have the money now. It's true. They have the money. But it's not smart business.
Right.
We have to deal in realism here, guys. It's just not a smart business move. You can't spend half of your revenue just on player salary.
Correct. And here's the thing.
It's not realistic.
Here's the thing that if they stayed at, I think eventually they end up higher than 220.
Me too.
I think they will eventually end up higher than 220. I think the owners know they can move off that number. They're just not looking to do it until it's like, all right, If that's going to get it done and we know that's it, we get everything else we want, we increase, then we're done. We'll do it.
Exactly. The players have to concede more things.
Correct. That's only way it's going to work. And that's just realistic. Here's my thing, though, when it comes to if it stays, let's say, okay, 230, right? The Yankees are a little off that. Here's my issue with this idea that, well, you know, it's just going to, you know, if the Yankees want to go out and get this guy, that helps them do it. There's a role in Major League Baseball that allows teams to move things around. The general manager.
Yeah.
So the Yankees have built, and the Yankees, we're just talking about the Yankees because this is a team that would be affected by this, obviously.
They're a good case study for this whole argument.
Great case study for this. The Yankees have built a team. When you look at the number and how much they spend, you kind of look around and go, how?
How is it possible?
How do they do that?
Exactly.
And then you
$220 million on this team
right now.
With no shortstop.
With no shortstop. Who the hell knows
only Garrett
at first?
Cole as the most dependable pitcher.
Correct. So you look at
crazy.
that and you go,
it's crazy.
Well, the problem here was bad salary distribution. That's the issue. It's a bad roster.
The money's allocated terribly.
So if you have a general manager and goes, I fucked up, I've made mistakes, we do need to get these guys, and I want to get a Correa, I want to add a Freeman, whatever the hell it is, but I need to kind of knock off $50 million or so. Sanchez is going to get around 7 or 8. We already talked about what Britton and Chapman get, almost 30+ million, just them two alone.
30 million.
Aaron Hicks gets 10 million.
10 million.
The
Sevy
list
has
goes
another
on
10.
and on. Green is going to get 6 or 7 million. I mean, the list goes on and on for how you can move that stuff. So I'm not saying, is it fair that the owners don't want to budge? I'm not making that argument here. The only argument I'm making here is $220 million is a lot of friggin' money for a Major League Baseball club. It's a lot of money.
It's more than most teams are ever going to spend in salary right now.
So I say this a lot. You say it a lot. We all do. Hal, you got the money, go spend it. Hal could sit back and go, we're one of the top payrolls in baseball.
He could say, I did spend it.
I don't know. Yeah, I did. I mean, I don't know what else you guys want from me. And trust me, you guys have heard me call him Little Stein and every name in the book. I am not a fan at all because my heart is with the Yankees to win. So, yes, I'm not going to always look at the business and go, well, he kind of is, guys. I'm going to sit back and go, just do it. You can do it. Just do it. And Hal is sitting up there going, I mean, I look at the books. I'm not spending, like Francis said, 400 and something million after. No,
he has shareholders that he has to meet with who are probably looking at him and say, and we're spending $220 million on this freaking roster.
That is the reality of a business and as an owner. So when I sit there and I think about the whole thing, what I wish Hal Steinbrenner would do is just come out and say that. And not be negative about, but just come out and say, hey, look, we have a roster of extremely talented guys. I blame them, but I also blame the way we've spent that money.
Exactly.
Because it looks even worse for him now if the Yankees come back and go, well, you know, we kind of stayed where we are. We want to kind of, you know, we got a little bit of latitude, so we added the Aldrich and Simmons, but we didn't get these other moves because of all the lockout and all this and that. But we also blame the players for last year. You can't do that. So now you put your own foot in your mouth.
Yeah, and see.
So your GM needs to get his ass to work is what really needs to happen. Even if they went up to 230, they don't have a lot of wiggle room. They can't still go sign a lot of these guys.
If they go up to 2, I mean, the thing is, the belief among the majority is that they're going to go over the first threshold regardless.
Right.
Some people are out there saying that they probably would go over the second threshold. That sounds a little bit crazy to me, but I'm not going to say it's impossible because, I mean, Cohen looks like he doesn't give a shit about going over it either. So it's like,
but see, the thing too with Cohen, though, Cohen kind of made it known really early that he's the next George Steinbrenner. That's who he wants to be.
Yeah. And
so
and Hal has showed that he doesn't want to be.
Right. And he's like, well, look at what I've done already. If you don't think, and they're already talking about when they come back, they might look at Kikuchi and a few other guys. They're like, we're not done spending. Yeah. So I don't think he gives a poot about going over. But you don't
he's
have
over. He's
over.
He's
well over. But see, that's the thing we were talking about early on, right? He actually cares about winning. You could tell this guy wants to win.
He wants to win. He wants to win now. He wants to win right away, like right now. He said like in the first 3-5 years, like he wants to win a ring. He's going for it. So shouts out to him because he's doing it. He's going about it the right way, I guess I would say. I think when you see the Yankees, it's like, look, if you asked me, moment of truth, Francis, do the Yankees enter 2022 with a salary that's under the luxury tax? I'd say no. Why? Because they were under the luxury tax last year,
Right?
And it resets all the penalties.
Correct.
And we're about to get a new deal that now has favorable penalties, meaning they won't even lose a pick for going over the first threshold.
That's right.
And the tax percentage of the tax is lower because the owners already agreed to both of those things.
Yep.
So that first tax threshold is really nothing. It's like a soft cap. Like blowing through that for a couple years is really not going to affect a team like the Yankees. They're not going to care because they make the money. They have the money. That's where they could flex their financial wherewithal.
Yeah.
As for
by the way, I don't mean to pause you there. I just want to answer this comment because I think this will probably kind of lead into what we're talking about right now too. Mm-hmm. Guys, what Max Scherzer said is wrong anyway.
Yeah.
What he said about the Padres, he's wrong. That's not even accurate. So this is the guy that's going in there with players, causing scenes apparently, has a horrible attitude per my understanding.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of players that aren't happy with the way he acted in the meetings, per my understanding also.
Yeah.
And so he's also wrong about what he's saying. And apparently, maybe I don't know if we've done the same research, but I was told a little after this that the agents were one of the biggest problems in this whole situation.
That's exactly what I was about to say. But
so
like
Scherzer
is off the rails because he's Boris's spokesperson.
Correct. And a lot of people were very upset. If you remember, when the whole thing, we kind of all felt like, well, we're buying into what we're seeing. Maybe there's gonna be a deal tonight. I stayed up to 3-4 in the morning waiting to go live. Next day, I said, all right, well, let's move our shows around because 5 o'clock's the deadline. If we get something, I don't want to interrupt by going live, too early during somebody's time. So we move shows around for it. And then it comes out that, the owners just went over and it wasn't as accurate. But my understanding is that's not necessarily the case. A lot of shit changed once the agents got involved and became mouthpieces.
What I got from all the freaking like researching and going through everybody's like combing through like literally like at least 40 to 50 different people's tweets all week.
That's the type of research Francis does, by the way, folks.
Yeah, like
that's some hard shit right there.
I'm combing through people's tweets from this week. Was an interesting week, bro, because I was combing through tweets from last week when they were in Florida, going through everything. Then I was reading articles and I was watching interviews. The most important interview that I watched was Bill Madden on Russo, where how this shit is good because Russo is quiet.
Oh, yeah. I gotta watch that. I didn't watch that, but I heard a lot about it.
Oh, trust me, it's so good.
Bill Madden has some news today too.
Russo is quiet, and so I go. That was the thing that really set me off, and I said, okay, let me go and look, and then that's when I really started to get upset because he made claims about Boris, and you see people saying, no, it's not that or whatever. Well, don't give me that, because now when I go and I start looking at Boris clients and the things that they're putting out there, don't tell me he's not. It is him. Bryce Harper was the player who tweeted himself in a Yomiuri Giants jersey last week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which agent do you know has the favorite tactic of putting out that a big player is close to signing with one team so that he can get more from the other?
Yep.
Boris. Now everybody does it, but that's Boris's calling card. Oh yeah, they're really close on the deal. They're really close. Oh, give me some more money. Let's talk about. Yeah, all of a sudden Bryce Harper's considering going overseas to play in Japan. Give me a fucking break.
Yeah, right.
Boris client though. Boris client.
Yep.
Who's been the loudest voice in the players' room the whole time? Max Scherzer.
Yep.
Boris client. Who showed up when crunch time was coming last week? Garrett Cole.
Yep.
Boris client. Like, I'm telling you, the blood on his hands, and I say blood because it's our blood, the fan.
It is, correct.
It's like he can't wipe it off fast enough.
Not at all.
The more you look at it, don't take my word for it. Don't take my word for it. I'm just Francis on this podcast. You don't got to take my word for it. Go fact check everything I just said.
Man, I love this, man.
Scherzer has been there every single day. He's been the front man. He's been the loudest in terms of like tweets and stuff like that. Garrett Cole, look at when he showed up or whatever. Look at Bryce Harper's tweet. Look at all of the, and then look at the picture that was posted.
Yep, I remember.
Look at the picture that was posted, and then go through it. This is going to take you a little bit of time because you have to go to Boris's website, You have to look at all his clients. And some of you aren't even going to know some of these players just by looking at their faces or whatever. The majority of Boris clients in that picture is alarming.
Yep.
It is alarming, to say the least. So I'm sorry, but we cannot sit here and continue to say, no, but the player. And then, okay, yes. But these agents, specifically Boris right now, have way too much of a voice in that room. Way too much. And let me tell you why I say that. If I was a player, I would want no agent more than Scott Boras. Like,
of course.
When the news came out that Correa changed his agents to Boras or whatever, I was like, of course he did. Because if you're a player of that caliber, Scott Boras is exactly who you want, because he knows how to fight with these owners and negotiate and play dirty and do everything he has to get every single inch possible on that contract for you. Let me tell you why Scott Boras is the last person who should be in CBA negotiations, though. When he's talking to the owners, he's talking about one player. The CBA is about all players.
Correct.
Players, and 2/3 of those players are players that Boras himself wouldn't even give a second look to.
Yep.
Because they don't make the kind of money that's going to make his bottom line move any.
That's right.
Okay?
That's right.
So when he is advising some of those players in the room, he's not advising for the best interest of all the players. He's advising for the best interest of the 30% or so who will make contracts that end up being lucrative for guys like him, who get the 10% or the 15% of the $300, $400, and $500 million deals.
Yep.
Boras is in the room arguing and fighting for all this and CBT this and CBT that and all whatever, because he wants to make sure that Soto is going to get $500 million.
$500 million, that's right.
And
he knows, and guys, again, are the Baltimore Orioles going to give Soto that money? No.
Never.
It's going to be the top tier.
Was Pittsburgh ever going to give Soto that money?
Never.
No. Was Tampa ever
The
going to give him that
Nationals
money?
aren't.
No.
And they got money.
The Nationals
And they're not going to do it.
The Tigers aren't. The Cardinals aren't. The Rangers already spent. They're not doing it. Houston's not doing it. Seattle's not doing it. The Angels aren't doing it. You know
not
who
after,
will,
not
though?
after what Art Moreno started talking about.
You know who will do it? You know who he's looking at? He's looking at Hal Steinbrenner. He's looking over there at the Dodgers. He's looking dead in the eyes right now in San Diego. He's like, you guys got a lot of money on the books, but hey, he'd look great. He'd look great with Tatis and them. Yep. He's looking at Steve Cohen. He's like, I'm very happy you're here. Welcome to the fold, Stevie. Yep. Let's have a conversation. He's looking at these 4 teams and saying, if we don't get that CBT up, they're going to be paying way too many penalties, and they're not even going to look to give this guy a contract like that. And it's going to be even harder. He wants to make it easier, which, of course, behind all of this, he's an agent.
Yep.
That's what they do. Their job is to make things easier, to make these negotiations smoother and everything. But this is a CBA negotiation and not a one-player contract negotiation. Yep. You can't negotiate this as if you were negotiating Carlos Correa's next 10-year contract. I'm sorry.
No, you can't.
It's just,
not at all. It doesn't work that way.
It's too nuanced, and there's too many other people
involved,
whose lives are at stake.
Yeah.
For you to approach it like it was right. Correa contract or a Scherzer contract. And Scherzer's another guy. He's making what, $43 million this year?
Yep.
He got a contract for $43 million. Whatever. He's also fighting so that more guys can get deals like that or whatever. Garrett Cole, he's our ace. He's our guy. Whatever.
Yep.
I'm going to tell you right now. Some of you guys might not want to hear this. You might whatever. Kill me if you want to.
It's just going to be true.
The reason Garrett Cole shows up to that negotiation, does it? Because let me tell you something. Garrett Cole expects to get a $43 million a year deal after this one is up. I got news for you.
Right.
I got news for you. That's the reason he's there. Yep. He saw what old Maxey got, and he was like, and he said, "Yeah, I'm coming for that. I'm coming for that."
They're looking for themselves at the end of the day. I mean, guys, let's be honest here. They're looking for themselves. It's not saying something wrong. They're human. They're humans.
We all have these qualities.
Yeah. Look, people are greedy.
Yeah.
People are greedy.
Yeah.
And guess what?
Sure.
You get more greedy. You know who's the least greedy people? People that don't have money.
Exactly.
Really.
Exactly.
You go to Dominican Republic, ain't nobody complaining.
Nope.
Seriously.
Very
little.
Very happy
people what they have. We complain as
happy.
Americans. We are spoiled rotten for what we have. God bless us. I'm very, very proud. Don't get me wrong here. I'm very, very proud to be an American. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. All I'm saying is you get greedier as you get more money because you know there's more to be made. There's more to have. And is that necessarily wrong always? No, but it affects situations like this because, look, at the end of the day, you're not worried about Estevan Florial not making no money on the 40-man.
No.
You ain't worried about him. My man's up in the compo training.
Yeah, Boris.
They don't care.
This is what Madden said, that a lot of people glossed over. Whatever. He's like, look at that room. He said, how many of those Hispanic players, up and coming guys doing really well, how many of them did you see in the room?
Were there any?
Lindor, who's not even one of those guys.
Yeah, he's not one of those guys no more.
Lindor just got paid $340 million, so he's not one of those guys. He's 341.
There was none of them.
He's not one of those guys.
Ozzie Jr. pointed that out. Ozzie Jr. pointed that out. He was right.
And he kept saying it in the chat, and the more he said it, the more I looked, and I was just like, damn, it's true. Where are they? And it's true. They're all training, and they're in their countries, and they're whatever.
Let's be real. Isn't it supposed to be a thing for everybody? Latins make up a huge part of Major League Baseball. Shouldn't they be somewhat involved in negotiation?
Well, here's the problem. Do you want them in the room if they're on the side of, look, man, a lot of us are making enough money as it is. A lot of us know that we're about to make it. If Juan Soto is the one who everybody's touting to get that first $500 million contract, and everybody's already calling it before it happens, wouldn't it benefit him to be in that room?
Yeah, very much.
Do you know why he's not in that room? Because he knows that no matter what the hell happens right now, he's going to get paid his money. The same way that Scherzer got the
never imagined. Let's be real.
And it's the money that Scherzer just got, even though $43 million for a pitcher of his age with the injury history that he has is absolutely asinine.
And here I gotta add one thing in there. This is gonna get people mad, but it's just true because people don't like to hear this. It's money he's only gonna get because there's an owner willing to pay it.
Exactly.
Capitalism. Exactly. Oh my God, be so scared of it. We don't want these billionaires. We hate them all, but you accept their paycheck every time they give it to you. You come to work in the morning. I hate my boss. I can't stand him. Hi, good morning, sir. How are you?
Yeah, no.
Cut the shit. Let's be real here. It's life.
The shit that kills me too is like when you see people get the deals and they're like, oh, look at this guy, man. He's not worth that deal, whatever. It's like, dude, we can't even say that anymore. You know why? Because you're worth what they pay you. Listen, Lindor is making his AAV is $34.1 million a year. You can't tell me that he's not worth it because his bank account says he is.
That's right. And I said this. I think we both kind of said this a while back. The owners can't complain about salaries either. You guys gave it.
They're paying it.
Exactly.
And that whole narrative, I'm sick and tired of this shit too for years now. This whole narrative about, the Yankees are the ones that ruined baseball with these large salaries and George Steinbrenner. Give me a fucking break. A-Rod signed with Texas before he signed with us.
Exactly.
A-Rod signed with Texas before he signed with us. Look at what the Padres gave Tatis before he won anything.
And let me add this in here too. Isn't that hypocritical from the people that blame the owners for everything? And they don't give the players enough? Well, they're paying them. So yes, the owners can't complain because, hey, you guys started this shit. So you can't complain now about salaries or even for, like you said, Boris and Soto coming out being like, yeah, he is worth $500 million. He is worth $450. They're not wrong. He's gonna get.
So listen, Soto's gonna get that money because at the end of the day, there's gonna be an owner who says, "I can't not have this guy on my team.
That's right.
I need him. Like he's available. I need him."
Francis, some people financials. You're very good with financials. You're very good with this stuff. It's what he does. Okay. So this is a very simple question. The yearly salary, is that money not going to be made back just on him?
Let me tell you something right now.
Come on. See that answer? That's the Steve Harvey. Boy, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something.
I'm going to tell you something right now. As crazy as $50 million average annual value sounds for a player, Juan Soto makes that back like nothing.
Like hotcakes.
Are you kidding me?
Like IHOP flipping flapjacks in the morning.
He makes it back. Kidding me? Dude, he's going to do a couple commercials for you. He's going to sell jerseys for you. He's going to sell hats for you. There's going to be a Juan Soto bobblehead day. And then he's going to win awards and shit.
Yep.
Okay.
That's right.
If the contract, as crazy as it sounds, the contract for those first few years is going to damn near pay for itself. It's going to pay for itself.
Hey, at the end of the day, that's why I talked early on. I said the owners see it as a business. Well, guys, Juan Soto's their investment. He is them going out there buying Bitcoin. That is their investment. They know they get a profit back. They don't want to pay him that much, but they look at all this stuff beforehand. And they go,
of course they do.
Well, yearly, we're going to make just from this guy alone. We can market the shit out of this guy. Do you know what we're going to make? That first year alone is probably going to cover the first couple of years.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Easily.
For sure. It's
easily.
You know this, like, all right. I don't want to put this out there. I'm not trying to put this in your head. So, guys, please do not go crazy with this. This is a completely hypothetical situation. I know nothing.
Disclaimer.
Completely hypothetical. But say, by some stretch of the imagination, the Yankees are the ones who signed Juan Soto. Do you imagine the frenzy
oh my God.
of jersey sales, of ticket purchases?
Can I say this real quick, Francis? I'm going to see if you agree with me. I think you're gonna, because we know New York City.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? He would make Aaron Judge look like a nobody.
It's very
popularity
possible.
alone.
It's very possible. It's very possible.
Dominican in New York. Most money ever.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. He is going to be off the bat. Fam, look, and this is a guy that everybody respects as it is, too. It's not one of those guys where you're like a Cano in a sense. It was like, there's some things about him I just...
Yeah.
Soto is a player's player. The guy busts his ass. He runs hard. He does everything. Yep. Now, I know people could say, well, after he gets that money, let's see. Some guys are built different, though. You can't just say that. You can't just make that assumption. But Soto in New York, and this is not me saying he's better than... I'm not making a comparison on that. I'm talking about the Yankee fan base. It would be a turnout just to see Soto in Yankee Stadium. One thing Dominicans do, they will kill to support their people.
Ridiculously.
No doubt. Look, Ozzie Guillen said, quite simply, nothing bad, Sammy Sosa and other guys deserve to get in the Hall of Fame before David Ortiz. You ever looked at the post he made and the Dominicans in that post, the things they were saying about him? He said nothing wrong. Lost their shit. You do not play around when it comes to that, guys. Baseball's their life. That is their thing.
It's
so when they see somebody like Juan Soto do it, guess what? A mother that's pregnant or something, this could be my baby. This is their life. This is what they can do. They have that opportunity. And Soto would be so friggin' big in America's capital of Dominicans. That is New York City.
Yeah.
It'll be
huge. Which is the reason that not that Cohen shouldn't be spending, and no, he should definitely be spending. But like when Cohen first bought the Mets, my biggest fear was immediately I was like, this guy's he's gonna sign Soto. When Soto's up or whatever, he's gonna be the one. He's gonna sign. He's gonna be the one to give him the $500 million. I know it.
I can see
and
it.
Then this offseason, he started spending. And I said, okay, cool.
He's just warming up.
I said, okay. I'm like, okay, cool. But I'm like, damn, okay. You got Marte, you got Scherzer. I'm like, okay, Scherzer 1 year, 2 year. Okay, but Scherzer 3 years at $43 million. DeGrom has possible, contract extension or something coming up, whatever.
Yeah.
Pete Alonso eventually is going to have to get paid. I'm doing the math. You already got Lindor there. I'm like, shit, they're already at 240. That threshold is going to be what it is. But when you keep going over that threshold, the increased taxes, by the time Soto comes, he could be paying already $500 million in salary when you factor in the taxes and everything.
Correct.
Is he going to add $50 million on top of all of that? I think even he might have to
threshold,
bulk. Might have to bulk at that.
Yeah.
And again, not just because of him, but because owners also have to answer to people.
Yep.
This guy, Cohen, is a financial wizard. Okay.
Yeah.
He's done some questionable things in finance or whatever. I'm not going to get into that. It's not this type of podcast. So, but he is a finance guy. So yes, he is spending and stuff like that, but he's spending right now because he knows he's going to make that shit back and then some. We're talking 2-3 years down the line. Say the Mets do get one in year 1 or year 2 or whatever like that, whatever. I mean, by the time Soto rolls around with all the money he's already spending on the salary, he might have to say, can't do it. I'd love to because I know what it's going to be. I mean, forget it, but So it does leave the question. Well, if the Yankees don't go and get Correa this year and they do end up going with a cheaper option and they maybe extend Judge or whatever, the Yankees are sitting, they're not anywhere near 240 in salary, 250 in salary. So if the threshold doesn't go up to 230, right now, they'd still be paying like nothing.
Yep.
In terms of like penalties and stuff.
That's right.
But Cohen he's over the penalty, way over, and he's like strapped into paying that penalty for a few years.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the Yankees have a lot of money coming off the books.
A lot.
In the coming years.
A lot.
So again, I'm not trying to put this in anybody's head because I know people are going to take it and run with it. Oh my God. So that's the plan. They're not going to sign Correa because they want to get Soto.
Right.
I don't know the plan. None of us know the plan.
Right.
That's why we're all going crazy because we don't know the fucking plan. But all I'm saying is, wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Wouldn't surprise, because they're in a way different position than a lot of the other teams because we have a lot of this money coming off the books in the next few years. And then, young guys coming up and stuff like that or whatever. Whereas the Padres, a lot of the money they have on the books is like, that's money that they're keeping for a while.
Yep.
Machado,
Tatis.
They also got this prospect coming up also who's young, who's going to be good. So like their team is like, they got a lot of money on pitchers too. I keep forgetting, but the Padres have spent money on that rotation. So it's like, you look at these teams, the Dodgers too. The Dodgers obviously want Soto. That the Dodgers are going to want to be in. They're going to want to be in on that. So it's going to be really interesting to see them because I think with the Dodgers, it all depends on what happens after this year with Trey Turner. If they don't re-sign Trey Turner for long term, then it's like, yeah, I really worry about them who want Soto because they have the money too.
The biggest market for Soto is New York. I mean, I don't think there's any denying that at all. Even though
New York,
LA is LA, but I just think like New York is like.
And I'm sorry, can't believe I didn't say it again. You guys are gonna hate this,
Boston,
but you can't count out Boston.
No, definitely not. Not on something like that. I still don't count him out on Correa. I don't know, but I still don't count them out there. I just gotta. It's a weird feeling for me with that. With Cora.
That would kill me. That would. I'm telling you, that would literally. Like I say, if they got Correa, I'd be whatever. Look, I would be able to get over that. I would not be able to get over Boston getting Juan Soto. I would not.
That'd be huge. That'd be insane.
And they have a lot of the right guys to like, coerce him.
And they got a lot of young guys too. They're another team too. They got some really good young studs coming up. So they're not far away. So Marcelo Meyer is there. So
that kid's good. That kid's really good.
Very good.
Really good.
And the Yankees have that too. And that's a good point too. There, the Yankees have a lot of their youth coming up that aren't gonna get paid a ton. So
just
even with
700
new stuff, 750, 725, 700, whatever
700,
it is.
725.
And then they might have, to be realistic, you can argue they might have 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 spots at that in the lineup where you could make an argument that maybe they would have that many. They got a left side of an infield that you could argue, well, they need 2 new spots in the next couple of years. I mean, I think
for sure.
That's a very fair argument. You got second base, you don't really know. Center field, you don't really know. I mean, there's a lot of openings. The catcher, you don't know. So there's a lot of different things they could do. But
catcher's done, I think, after this year. Yeah. Hopefully.
And before,
fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Unless Gary this yoga stuff all of a sudden makes him some unbelievable player. But
he's ridiculously skinny right now.
He does. He looks very good. He really does.
Yeah.
But before we go into, I want to talk about the rule change proposals. Before we go into that, I got to just repeat a couple of things to everybody really fast. If you guys have not checked out NyynewsTV.com, go ahead and check out. The new store is up.
The website.
We got the exclusives coming. Guys, I got so many exclusives coming. I have not dropped it yet because I don't think now is the right time with baseball. Yeah. This is one of them, and this is available. This is the number 99 hat. And as you see, you got the NYY News TV logo on the side, the number 99. There's also a Garrett Cole one, number 45. So we have a couple of those up there right now, but there's T-shirts, hoodies, and all that stuff. I already showed Francis the designs for 2 of them we got. They look really, really great. And again, guys, subscribe to this page if you have not. If you're new in this chat, welcome. Please subscribe. You don't want to miss what we do. Apple Podcast, leave the 5-star review. On everybody's, look up NYY News TV. You'll see this podcast, Twin Bill, Hola Como Estás, Guillen's World, Chef Talk, NYST. You'll see all of us there. Thank you to my wonderful fiance. She has not left me. She is back as she's in the chat. Unless she's just doing this for the job. I don't know. But she got it right there. She got it right there. She tells me she owns 99%, so it don't matter. I only own 1%. So that is everything in the chat right there. She's putting it all, the NYY News TV. I'm sure she'll put everything else. But moving on, Francis, from where we are.
We appreciate you.
We do appreciate you, Jared. Yes, no doubt about it. Moving on. Time
out. Really quick. There's one comment. We don't got to say anything, but just imagine that outfield: Soto, Judge, and Dominguez.
Hey,
that's a lot of. Hey, pause. That's a lot of beef, though. That's a lot of.
That is a lot of beef, man. Hey,
I don't know.
That's some beef that can move, though, man.
Yeah.
Speaking of Dominguez has slimmed down a little bit too, which is nice to see because he was getting very big. I think. Well,
I wonder what podcast called that last year.
Yeah, correct.
Like he's probably gonna start slimming down.
He's gonna have to. I mean, somebody's seeing that in the Yankees, be like, alarm.
Yeah.
We got to get this kid on the way a little bit. You know what I mean? Get him going.
Mm-hmm. He looks good.
But going into the purported rule changes that the owners would want to do and would welcome doing, and the players are agreeing to in a sense. What are the likes for you? And what are the dislikes?
With the rule proposals, it's. I'll start with a like. I know for sure I do like limiting the shift. I don't think I have to get into it too much. I think we covered that really well a couple episodes ago. But that's what I will say. I do like limiting the shifts. I don't feel like your second baseman should be halfway into right field. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with putting your shortstop halfway into left field or whatever. So I think if you just, limit it to like keeping infielders on the dirt, and, second baseman has to stay on the right side of second base, shortstop has to stay on the left side of second. If you limit it like that, I'm down. Robo umps.
I hate it. Oh my God. I can't.
I don't, it's, so I'm gonna tell you guys this. Look, if they approve robo umps, am I gonna like cry about it for a year? No, I'm not.
No, we can't. There's nothing we can do.
Yeah, but what I will say is that the umpires, as inconsistent and as many big calls as they miss or whatever, like, kill me if you want to. There's just something traditional about it that like that's where I am a little bit of a baseball purist in the fact that missed calls, it's a part of the game. Like, I think you win the World Series and you're the last team standing on the field in, beginning of November, end of October, holding that trophy. There's never been a team that's done that and doesn't have, bad calls from umpires along the way throughout the season and even the postseason and things.
Of course.
But that's just another obstacle that they had to, get over and win.
Right.
And it's like, yes, do you want an important game decided by a bad call of an umpire, like what happened this year with the Giants and the Dodgers and that?
Yeah.
The check swing? Did he swing? Of course not. You don't, right? Or like, I mean, we've had, perfect games ruined by, yes, it's true. These things, you never want them to happen. But, I mean, there's just something unbaseball about a robotic umpire. But, again, if it was to happen, I'm not dying on the hill of, no, there's no way, whatever. It's like, nah, if it happens, it's like, all right, fine. That's what you guys went with. Okay, cool. Like, let's see with the robo umps. Let's see what happens. There's a lot of players who stand to benefit from it. Aaron Judge being one.
Definitely.
Aaron Judge gets more incorrect low strike calls than any other player in Major League Baseball because of how tall he is and the way that he bats. And he's added a crouch to his stance to build up power, but also kind of shrink his strike zone a little bit.
Yeah.
And umpires still continue to screw the shit out of him on those. So he's a guy who 100% is going to benefit from some of those. I think Stanton benefits on calls also. But I mean, for guys, there's still going to be guys who strike out a ton, even with the calls being correct or not. And there's still going to be pitchers who are mad because even with the box on the screen that we're seeing, they don't see a box down there.
Correct.
And they're gonna think it's a strike. But who are you going to argue with?
That's what I was going to say. Who do you yell? Do you yell up at the sky somewhere? Like,
they're going to be, hey Siri, was that a strike?
Can we get a review on that? There was a glitch. There had to be a glitch in the system somewhere. That wasn't a strike. I mean, it's silly.
What is the manager? Who does the manager argue with? Does he?
Boone will love it.
Instead of coming up to the because he can't get bullied by a computer.
Can you text somebody?
Or can he?
Can you can you text somebody? Like, can you text somebody like, hey, can we review this on my? Let me text you real quick. Here's my thing about all that, and I'll go back from where you did, and I'll move on like you did.
Mm-hmm.
On the shift, yeah, we both said that, right? That kind of keep the people, make their boundaries for where a position can move to. I also don't think it makes any sense when you got 4 guys on the right side of the infield and stuff like that. To me, I'm like, okay, well, you're no longer a second baseman. If you're playing right field, you're playing right field. You're not a second baseman. So I do think there needs to be boundaries on where guys can move. Completely eliminating it, no way. Because, I mean, look, guys, do we need managers or no? At this point, where it feels like we're trying to go to, is we don't need personal feel of this game, and I think that's a major mistake. You do need personal feel, like you said before. There's something about having regular umpires. They're humans. They do make mistakes. Here's what I would like to see. There should be a public rating system on these guys. I think there is something like that. I think somebody does it, but I don't think it's like a Major League Baseball thing. But there should be some sort of public rating system where it's a way where they either get bonuses or incentivize them to do a little more, to really focus and really try to get the right call the first time, whether it's additional training and things like that. But I know there's something that somebody does that grades them on balls and
Twitter,
strikes and things like that.
Umpire scorecards on Twitter.
Well, something like that could be done as their own thing, and I think that would really work if you get these guys to maybe put a little more heart, feel, and focus into their job, and incentivize, like I said, to maybe get a better rating or to kind of reevaluate how they do their things. I hate the idea of a robot ump. I just can't stand it. And like you said, if it happens, we're gonna watch baseball. There's shit we could do about it. It just feels to me they're taking way too much out of this game, and that's what I don't like. They're not making this. So again, too, I almost feel like even with that, this isn't even anywhere near yet, but it's happening in the minor leagues. The whole thing with the watch and communication and all that.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, give them a PS5 control and let them play the game on simulation mode, and choose when a guy takes a pitch, when a guy swings, when a guy walks, what pitches are being thrown. Take everything away. Make it be a robotic game. Make it be a game where, again, you're just sitting back and you're playing it. And you're the owner, or the hell with it. Get rid of the managers. Let a GM do it from the upper deck. Let him sit there and throw signals to people and go, oh, this is the pitch. This is the infield shift. This is what I want. Why do you need these extra positions if you're taking all the personality away from the game? Yeah.
I feel like with the watch, obviously, with the watch, I feel a little bit favorable to it. I don't know if the current iteration of the watch is, I don't think that's going to work. But I do think that.
Does everybody have one? Or is it just the? I heard the infielders have it too.
Some teams the infielders have it, and even there's teams that have the whole team with it on. I don't know if the current iteration of the watch is going to be the one that works in Major League Baseball, but I do think eventually you get to something where, the catcher throwing a combination of his fingers down isn't how the pitches are called. Now, is it a watch? Is it something like, I don't know what that is, but I feel like, once you get, because when you get to that stage, like, then it's like, well, I don't want to hear it. We're not going to hear anything about like, this guy was stealing our signs or whatever. It's like, no, it's on a closed network monitored by the MLB. It's actually impossible. So if your pitcher just got rocked, well, I'm sorry, he just got rocked. If you have a freaking robot umpire up there and a freaking watch to transmit the pitch calls and you still get rocked, you just got rocked. Like, I don't know what else. You can't argue about it. You can't. Maybe you were tipping pitches, but there's no technology that's going to fix a guy tipping pitches.
Right.
No matter what you do. And that's my thing. Is like, even with the technology event, like, you could throw all the technology you want. You could have the guys out there looking like fucking RoboCop. At the end of the day, there's just shit about baseball that even technology can't fix. Right?
Exactly. Right.
It's just like,
what happens when the technology glitches?
Yeah,
or it doesn't work during the middle of a game. Everybody looks around like, what the hell do we do? How do we play baseball?
No, they're gonna.
I'm talking about 10 years from now.
They're gonna have to play
baseball?
the
what
way.
Do we do?
They're gonna have to play the. They're going to play the traditional.
Will they know how? I'm not even joking.
That's a question. That's a good question.
There was if a kid
comes up now, who knows?
Well, if you guys don't watch Guillen's World, there was an episode. I think it was 2 episodes ago, when Oni Guillen and Ozzie Guillen Jr. talked about how college teams actually train their players. There is no. You hit this week. It's everybody does the same shit.
Yeah.
And they're trying to implement these type of things quicker in college.
Yeah.
So when players lose the feel of, and this is almost a society issue. I think many people are more attached to technology than they are to their personal feelings or how to speak to people. I think we're losing that aspect anyway.
Interpersonal communication is dying. It's been for years.
Technology, and that exactly, it's been doing that for years. So my whole thing is like, How much do we go with technology and just get rid of this idea of baseball being a sport where it is somewhat strategy, where it is the eye test, where it is all that? The whole bigger bases thing, kind of understand that at first base because there could be a lot of injuries in that situation. Now, when they talk about bigger bases, I don't think we really know what they mean by bigger. I know that means, well, obviously the word bigger means it's going to expand or get a little bit, but is it going to be 2 inches every way? Is it going to be an inch every? Is it going to be higher up?
No, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a couple. It's going to be like a couple inches. A couple inches. There's going to be a few inches in each direction. So the square itself will just have a larger surface area.
I can live with that.
They're going to shorten the distance. They're going to shorten the distance between the bases and allow for a bigger plane of base so that you can get away from that colliding that happens. Okay. So, you're still not going to 100% get away from it.
No, it's never. That's never going to change.
It's just not going to happen.
So,
like if a guy wants to take a guy out, he's going to take
him out. And
watch, and there's no watch that's going to tell you that's coming.
No. So I agree. I agree. Those to me don't really bother me at all. The shift I already talked about. Yeah. The robot ump. I think there was one more that I'm missing.
Pitch clock.
Let me see. The pitch clock.
Pitch clock. Yeah.
Here's guys. If you're gonna love baseball and you're gonna grow up loving baseball, the greatest games I think we can all say that we ever watched were Yankee Red Sox 5-hour games. I mean, and I never complained once. I never watched when a rivalry was at its highs. And Derek Jeter even said, hey, look, we actually didn't like those guys. We really didn't like each other.
Yeah, and I loved
it. When those
I love that they hated them.
Francis, we didn't even, phones, Twitter and all that shit wasn't even big like that back then. I don't even know if it was around. I don't remember. But I know I wasn't on it. I know I wasn't focused on that shit on social media. I tell you what I was focused on, watching that damn game and arguing with anybody that was a Red Sox fan.
Yeah.
But they were either around me or I would call them or whatever it is. But I was watching that game from start to finish. It didn't matter. If you love the sport, it's not going to change. And let me tell you this. Adding that isn't going to get you new viewers. They don't give a shit. How is that going to get somebody new to go, oh, cool, look at that picture. It's a pitch clock. Okay. Nice. So what happened? Like, did this make the game shorter? I mean, yeah, it went from 4 hours and 10 minutes a game to 3 hours and 52 minutes.
You know what the saddest thing is? They're going to implement a pitch clock, and the majority of casual baseball fans are still leaving after the 6th inning.
Yep.
With pitch clock and all.
Yep.
And I get what they're trying to do. I get it. You're trying to make the game more marketable to younger people with, shorter attention spans. I get it.
But then do it to make sense.
But my thing is, like, you can't say, oh, we want to do that, and then at the same time get mad because guys are pimping home runs. You know what goes viral on social media? Home runs that are pimped, or pitchers striking out a guy and showboating a little bit. That's what's going viral. That's the shit that you're killing. That's the shit that's going to grow the game, though. That's the shit that's going to have the youth actually interested in the game. These kids love Tatis. They love Soto. They love those guys.
Fam, we know
that's what they want to see.
Controversy sells.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Hell yeah, it does.
People knock people like Conor McGregor, right? The guy made a living of having enough people want to see him for one or two reasons. Because they loved him or they hated him. And now he's a billionaire. Yeah. Or right at that. He's talking about buying Chelsea. And whether you think he can, don't even matter. He got money. He got more money than every UFC fighter ever of all time. He made a living off of it.
If he does, I'm buying that jersey ASAP.
Look at Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson says some of the most bizarre shit in the world. I want to eat his kids. I want to rip their heart out. You know what I mean? He said some crazy shit. But when he said it, spinal. But when he said it, you were like, I gotta go. I gotta watch that fight now because of Mike. Colby Covington and Jorge Masvidal just now. Colby Covington had talking about his children and his ex-wife. And everybody's like, oh, shit, man. I kind of like this dude, but I can see you getting punched in the mouth for that. So I got to watch it. I want to see the dude get knocked out. Colby comes in there and wins, and he pulls his groin and goes, hey, yeah, having fun with this, Jorge. I still hate you. But everybody saw it. It was the number 14th highest overall pay-per-view. It sells. So you're right. There's a lot of old-timers in a sense, or even me for an example. But here's my thing. The thing that pisses me off about baseball, yes, pimp that shit. Do it. But if that dude gets hit, don't throw the pitcher out immediately.
But again, that's what I'm saying. Live with everything.
But
live
they
with
won't
everything.
do that. That's the thing that bothers me because
No,
they
but
start
the-
chirping,
and-
then they want them. And then
Yeah, because
you're
that's the
fucked.
problem. Because that's the problem. It's like, oh well, no, you can't have this, you can't have that. But we got to do a pitch clock so that people can watch the game. No, people aren't going to come watch the game because the pitcher's delivering the ball faster. I'm sorry, they're not.
Definitely not.
They're not. They will come watch the game if somebody hits a home run, pimps that shit, comes up again, he gets hit. The next inning, the bench is clear. Listen, you don't like it. We love that shit. It is what it is. Like, don't make the game something it's not. Baseball isn't hockey. There aren't bench clearing brawls every single freaking night. But when they happen, they dominate the news cycle. Why? Because we love that shit.
Of course.
We love it. Let's not pretend that we're not, this tribalistic, being that we are.
If they brought back gladiators that will kill each other and actually kill each other, everybody would tune in to watch.
You know how many people would watch that shit. It's like, that's the thing, is like, you got these people who are like the Puritans or something, and they're just like, no, because we can't have fighting in baseball, whatever. It's like, what do you mean? It's
funny we're talking about this right now. This is just new from John Heyman, so I'm going to read this tweet. Players Union, and thank you, Arby, for sharing this. Players Union agreed to allow MLB to ban shifts. I don't know what ban shifts mean, so I'm assuming that's still, they're not going to ban it completely.
We said limit, and now they're saying
he's saying
ban.
ban shifts. I don't know what that means. If that's ever banned, that's absolutely insane.
That's
Implement
asinine.
a pinch clock and make bases larger in 2023, subject to those agreements fitting into a total deal. Union also rejected robot umps for 2022 and 2023. MLB's goal to be able to streamline the process and add excitement to the game. What of that is exciting? So
Robot
MLB,
umps are exciting, though?
This is my If you know what's exciting,
I don't think anybody's excited about
if
that.
If it's the robot from Fox Sports that's actually real. Remember that robot?
Yeah.
If it's actually that robot, or fucking Optimus Prime comes rolling in as an actual robot and it's calling the game, that's a different story. But what you know what's exciting? I was watching, again, I go back to Gary Sheffield's podcast, one of the most recent ones. That was on Friday, and he talked about this exact thing. And he said, maybe 10 years old and under get in for free. I don't think baseball would ever do that. But I don't disagree with him where you need kids to fall in love with this game.
Exactly.
You need players to be a little more interactive with fans. You need autograph signings. You need things like that. You need batting cages and things where kids could go play. You need things to get them running on the field at shagging fly balls. Maybe you could pay an extra fee and their kid could go out there and shag. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. But that is how you get that to go. Not by this bullshit.
There's so many missed opportunities, Pete, when you think about it, because they want to do this bullshit to grow the game, but then think of the simple fact. Put a water park in
center field.
Think of the that's a great idea, actually. Those hot ass summer days.
Hot ass summer games, yeah.
Look, when you think about it,
Milwaukee got the dude going down the slide. Get a damn slide. In Miami, do that shit. Put that in center field for a fan to go down the slide.
Bro, Miami actually has a pretty good game experience for fans. I mean,
I've heard.
The bars and the food.
You said Cincinnati was terrific.
Yeah. Cincinnati, phenomenal, which a lot of people...
I'm going to go to a lot of games this year. I know we definitely going to the White Sox game with Ozzy. We definitely do that this year.
I can't wait. Can't wait because I haven't been to that stadium, so I'm super excited. And I'm sure that experience is just going to be ridiculous. But what I'm saying, like, look at the Yankees, right? You want to grow the game. Why is it that at home games we can't see our team's batting practice? Like, you have kids.
So true,
man. My kids,
so
bunch of my friends, all these kids want to do is see Aaron Judge hit home runs, bombs, or whatever. But when we get there, it's the other team taking BP. Now, I'm a fan of the game. Like, I love the Yankees, but the only thing I love more than the Yankees when it comes to baseball is baseball itself. Yep. So I can watch the other team's batting practice and still be thoroughly entertained.
Yeah.
But these kids want to see Judge. They want to see Stanton. They want to see DJ. They want to see Torres. They want to see them do BP.
They want to see Torres.
I mean,
I'm joking.
He said, yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's one or two fans. one or two fans out there.
There's somebody.
They see number 25. They still think it's Teixeira or Giambi.
Everybody loves somebody sometimes.
But yeah, it's like these kids, they can't go in and see that, and you get in there and it's like, oh no, because they're home, so they took BP first and then whatever. It's like, bro, open the stadium up early, get people in there early, let them They'll be spending money from the time they're in there. Open up the concessions on time. Yankee Stadium has a bad habit of that. You get to the game early, and like some of the concessions aren't even fucking open.
Yep.
And it's like, bro, I'm fucking here. You're gonna cut off the beer in the 7th or whatever it is. Open the fucking concession. Let me get a beer from the moment I walk in.
I agree with you, man.
Chicken wings. Let me get some fries. Look. And let my kids see Aaron Judge hit some bombs into the seats.
And Francis, we talk about it all the time. Look, I know Yankee Stadium's expensive, but if I'm there early and I'm already in the baseball mood, I need a Frank or I need a beer or something.
Bro,
let me get
something.
Spending.
Spending.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, we definitely doing something there. By the way, guys, NYY News TV and the New York Yankees do have an NYY News TV day coming up. I don't want to say nothing yet because look.
Yes, sir.
Chris, and I got to give him a shout out. Chris from NYST set this whole damn thing up. It was going to be for NYST on COVID year. They couldn't get it. Now you know they're with us. And he said, hey, look, it's going to be NYY News TV Day. And we have that day planned. That day is set. I'm not going to give out the time yet and all that, but I will very, very soon. I'm working on something to put together to have that out. But we're going to have a day where you guys can join us. We're going to have our own section. We're going to have food is actually going to be covered. Beer is going to be covered. All that stuff is covered. It's going to be a 1 o'clock game. It's going to be something that I hope all of you in here can attend and be there with us. It's going to be unbelievable. Probably going to be one of my favorite days ever at a ballpark. Just because how much it means to us.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So get baseball back is what I'm saying.
Yeah, man.
But you know, there are so many things, man. If you did something where fans can say, "Holy crap!" Like I get to go out there early and catch an Aaron Judge fly ball.
Yeah.
Even if you get, hey, parent, look, you got to sign this waiver. Okay, my son gets hurt. I got to leave. I got to take him. All right, I understand it, but he's getting the opportunity that, guess what? This kid may now want to play Major League Baseball after that one moment. He may have never played anything in his life, and now he goes, wow, look at this field. I remember the first time as a kid walking into old Yankee Stadium, and my eyes were just like, oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is where Derek Jeter plays every day. Mm-hmm. This is where my dad told me Mickey Mantle plays. I mean, like, it's almost like I was telling my son the other day, he's playing baseball a lot now, so we've been training. I hit about a 340-foot homer off him the other day as I kind of bragged. Probably like a 20-mile-an-hour pitch, but I still creamed that baby, and I ran around, I kind of showed off.
Got to do what you got to do.
I mean, it's a way of teaching.
It is.
Shows you baseball's a game of failure.
It's a rite of passage. It's a rite of passage.
You know what I mean?
You got to deal with the consequences.
That's it.
It's a rite of passage.
But, bro, I got to be honest with you, man. I stepped on that field, and I knew stepping on that field again that my heart is all baseball.
Yeah.
That getting back into this as hard as I have with NYY News TV is the right choice because there's nothing I love more. It's just fact.
Yeah.
I stepped on that field. I felt like a little kid again. I said, man, I could be here all day.
Dude, I went to my first game was probably in 96, 95, 96. And we were sitting in the outfield. We were near the bullpen. And my first experience, and this is what I was already playing, like, baseball, as a kid and stuff. But to make that would have me fall in love with it as I'm looking. And John Wetland, John Wetland is, warming up at this point. And I see people going crazy, whatever, but I'm like, what, 5 years old, 6 years old this time? I don't know what the fuck. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. And then he's finished up the warm-ups or whatever, and I'm watching him intently. Probably made me fall in love with pitching, which is what eventually got me into the game. But I'm just like, okay. And he finishes up and he looks at me or whatever, and he has the ball, and he looks, he says, time, he's like, time to go, and he winks at me. And I'm like, time to go, or whatever. And I'm like, what's he gonna do now? And I was like, okay, go. He goes into the game, whatever. Obviously, and closes the game out, gets the thing, whatever. Comes back, right, to all of us in the section or whatever, and starts like throwing baseballs at everybody or whatever. Now, I didn't get one of the balls, but the eye contact after watching him get ready and then look and just say, time to go, and everybody just go crazy, and him go in and handle his business was like, I was like, shit is fucking amazing. Like, this guy's a freaking rock star. Like, right. I was like, what? Like, I was like, what is he like? I didn't get it, man. I didn't get it at the time. But just having that experience, being able to be there close to it, but who at the time, I promise you, I had no idea who this was. Like, I didn't like or whatever. I heard the name when I was there, but I was like, okay, whatever. Like, I'm a kid. I'm not really whatever. And now to think back on that experience, I'm like, damn, bro, I was like 5, 6 years old. John Wetland turned around to me and like he spoke to me. Like, and then goes into a game. Like, and it's like, yo, that's everything. That's everything.
No doubt,
and
man.
I'm 30 years old. I'm gonna be 31 in a couple months. And when I think about that memory, it takes me all the way back. Sorry, it takes me all the way back because it's like that's what baseball is about. It's about this connection.
It is very much
this random natural connection that we feel to these people who don't know us and we don't really know them. Like, I don't know what makes Aaron Judge suffer. I don't know what keeps him up at night or whatever.
Right.
But we feel like, dude, like we're in this together. Like I live and die on his at bats in the playoffs. This pretty much probably the same way he does. It's like, because he's like, I'm here. I want to produce. I want to, do this for the city and do this for the team and it's like, and I'm that guy who needs you to do this. Like right now, like we might as well be in the box together, baby, because I'm dying if you strike out. I'm dying if you strike out. Like I'm just as mad. So yeah, man, like that's baseball. And I think it's like you said, bro, if they really want to target, the up and coming generation, they got to expose them to it. But you got to do something. You got to do something to catch their eye.
You got to do things, man. You got to make deals with games like Fortnite. Put those players in it. Put the jerseys in it. They did it with NBA and shit like that. Yeah. They had the NBA time. I mean, these are little things that Major League Baseball doesn't do.
LeBron was in the game.
He was in the game. Marvel
LeBron
was in the game. They're not beholden to one group. They just do, I think, whoever pays them. They're like, all right, cool. Yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah.
I mean, you got all those little things. You got to make these guys likable. Like, you even see the NFL commercial, the one when they were all cartoon characters coming out of like an NFL Blitz game. Remember? Like on the Super Bowl, they did that. They all jumped out the screen. They were playing inside the house. And I'm like, these are things that, get fans attracted. You got the Nickelodeon shit. You got Nickelodeon.
Oh, yeah.
All that
the
different
slime,
stuff.
the slime cast.
I mean, there's a lot of things out there that you can really do to get fans more excited. And I think baseball just needs to do a better job. If they really think a pitch clock does that, okay, you guys are so off. It's not even funny how off you are to think that's going to get fans excited. Hey, look, fans, we got a robot ump. Oh, is it like an actual robot? No, it's a little screen up top that senses the pitch. Oh, okay, yeah, I give a shit. What do I care for? Jose Christian said in the comments, by the way, I have to shout this out. He said, trade Gary Sanchez for a bottle of marijuana. I kind of agree.
I could get on board with that.
But it might somebody else said, I don't know who it was. I think it was Hirsch. Hirsch was like, it's a little too expensive for him.
Damn, Hirsch, you don't think we can get the Mama June? No. The Mama June? We can't get the Mama June for homie?
No.
The Mama Jana? Nah, listen, my last point on that whole thing is like, look at what the NBA does. Look, the NBA has lapped the MLB in terms of like modernization and like reaching the newer generation. Like they've lapped the MLB several times. Commissioner wise and stuff like that. I mean, with Adam Silver, he's doing a phenomenal freaking job. Sometimes he's a little bit too woke for me, but
yeah,
it is even with that. And sometimes me disagreeing with like some of the things that seem like pandering or whatever, I still have a tremendous respect for him and the job and the work that he does with the NBA. And I feel like I want to be able to say that about baseball, but it's like, again, I go back to the point about like when you censor the players in a way, it's just like, bro, why kids love Steph Curry? Because they feel like they can do that. Like it doesn't like a little kid is not going to be able to dunk a basketball until he grows and gets older. And most people will never dunk a basketball, but he can shoot the ball from really far and possibly make it in and then turn around and start shimmying or throw his hands up and they can do that.
Yep.
And that's what endears them to the Steph Currys of the world and the John Morants or whatever. It's that these guys are grown men, but they're allowed to play the game like children in a sense. And baseball is like, no, sir, button up your shirt to the top.
It's too much. It's too much. It's silly. They got to get better with that. I got to talk about something. You talked about Bill Madden earlier. I can't pass this up.
Oh, yes.
I got to bring this up before we get to our tweet of the week, and then we're going to wrap the show up. Man, by the way, I love doing these live, man.
Oh, yeah, no,
there's a different feeling with live Designated Spittaz.
This has been great.
Than pre-record. There's a different feel.
Not to toot our own horn, but like
be the best podcast of the year for any podcast.
Yeah, I'm saying, man, not to toot our own horn.
Is there a nomination out there?
Bro, we just kill this shit. Listen, I don't know who's doing the awards.
Stupid.
I don't know who's doing the awards. If they do,
my voice all squeaky.
Don't rig that shit for the competition because we know that's what you would like to do.
trying to rig shit.
But we're
anyway,
gonna come up. We're gonna get on that stage like Death Row Records. If you really want to talk the truth about what's happening with your team, come to NYY News TV.
Crazy. But
yeah, Pete, you would be Suge Knight.
I'll be Suge Knight. I'll be Suge Knight, man. Hey,
man,
I forgot to break some legs. Got to break some legs and shit. I don't know. Got to threats. We got to make some threats. I know what to tell you. Got to call Frankie 2 times over there. That's it.
Frankie 2 times over there.
But Bill Madden, who we were talking about earlier, Bill Madden put a very interesting tweet out there today. He said something along the lines of surprisingly or amazing, if whatever. But basically, he's saying that Jeff Passan, our favorite guy, Jeff Passan, is out there telling players not to agree to anything via email.
Really?
Who does this guy think he is? If this is true,
hold on.
I want to put a disclaimer out there.
Bill Madden said this though?
Yeah, we shared it. Watch. Let me pull it up. I'm gonna. Matter of fact, to be fair, you're right. You're right to be fair. Let me get the actual tweet. Here it goes right here. He goes, "What a business. I'm told MLB higher-ups and owners outraged over the lead baseball writer for one of their TV partners, ESPN's Jeff Passan, emailing multiple players and agents, imploring them to vote down what he termed MLB's shit sandwich final offer last Tuesday. Who does this guy think he is?" I joked around today. I said, this guy really believes he's the almighty. He believes what fans are saying about him.
Yo, this is absolutely crazy. I can't.
He believes truly what fans say about him.
Yo, this is...
You said earlier, I was going to bring it up earlier because you said that, Boris has no say for everybody that's involved in this. But I'll say this. Boris got more say in this than he should. He got players involved.
Yeah.
What does Jeff Passan got to do with any of this? Who is he?
Oh, that's another thing I was going to say
Kevin
before.
said Jeff Passan used to get bullied in high school.
For sure.
Yeah, he had to be.
There's no, but look.
What are your thoughts on that?
One of the things I was saying before that I said I was going to mention, like about the media, right? Just be careful, guys, like with the coverage that you're seeing out there. The narrative is way too one-sided, right? This goes with everything. This goes with everything, guys. This is not even just for the CBA
politics.
Negotiation.
It's honestly
this is politics. This is life in general.
No, it's just
it's
the
news.
news cycle
it's
today.
News.
It's what we're dealing with today. Popular opinion must be followed.
Exactly. What I'm here to tell you guys is, you have a brain. God gave you a brain.
Use it,
please. Or you don't believe in whatever, but you do know that you have a brain inside of this hard skull. There's a brain there. Use it. It's yours, and it's for you to think, to formulate your own opinions. I know that sounds crazy in the world that we live in, because the world that we live in tells you that you shouldn't have an opinion. You just need to go with whatever everyone else is saying, because if you don't, they're not going to accept you. And the worst thing is to be unaccepted or not accepted or to be rejected. That's the worst possible thing. Well, I'm here to tell you, no, it's not. Rejection is actually beautiful. It's actually good when you go against the grain, because you truly feel differently. There's nothing wrong with that. And you need to be careful with the coverage that you're seeing that's too one-sided. Whenever it's too one-sided, you can almost guarantee that there is something at play here.
Yep.
And when I say this in regards to the CBA negotiations, I'm saying there's just way too many big media personalities, Passan included, going way too hard on the players' side right now. And I promise you, it's not that one-sided in reality.
No way.
It's not that one-sided in reality. Now, could it be that some of these reporters need to maintain positive relationships because breaking news is a big part of what gets them to where they are? Getting information from players is a big part of what they put into those articles that they write. Getting exclusives with players is a big part of what gets them the name that they have in those offices. Think about that before you just take everything that they say as law and Bible, because these guys also have a living to make, and the players mean a lot more to that living than the owners do.
That's right.
And that's not fair in terms of you're being called to cover this news.
Correct.
In a what do you say, non-biased way, but you want to nurse your relationships because at the end of the day, those relationships affect your bottom line.
Yep.
That's all I'm saying, guys.
Well, this
use
is
your own brains.
Let me tell you something. And again, I was actually watching the interview. This is totally off topic, but it kind of relates to what you're saying right there. And this is why I love what we do. I was watching an interview of Vince McMahon and Pat McAfee recently. I think I said his name right. McAfee. I guess that's right.
Pat
McAfee.
McAfee. I always say McAfee.
I know. It's one of those names where it's like I guess you could pronounce it a couple of different ways, but I want to get it right.
For all you know, it's McPhee or something.
Yeah, who the hell knows? I know. But anyway, he had a great interview with Vince McMahon. Why it's significant is Vince McMahon doesn't do interviews. He's affected all of our lives and more people around the world than we probably even imagine. How many lives Vince McMahon has affected with World Wrestling Entertainment, formerly World Wrestling Federation. But one of the things that Pat mentioned, he said, well, I love being my own boss, basically not having to answer to anybody because I can come on here and act how I want, do what I want, say what I want. That is the main reason, and I know I've repeated this a lot. That's why I started NyynewsTV. That's 100% the reason. We're not beholden to the Yankees. We've said that. We're not getting paid. Right now, we're not. Yankees, I'll leave the door open. You can make an offer, baby.
Not yet. Hey.
I don't think nothing's ever going to make me change on being who we are because I can never be.
Talk to us.
I just can't be that person. And somebody goes, well, Pete, maybe with 20 million you can. Maybe. But I've never had that. And I'm going to be, see, that's just being real about it. Maybe money does change. Maybe you could be a little more lenient. Maybe I could be. But I created this company with the people that are here is because I know they're going to speak their mind. They're not going to sit there and go, well, Pete, I disagree with you, so I'm going to go on my show because you don't agree with what I said. I'm going to change it to your opinion because we have to agree. No, that's not true. I told, who was it the other day? When Guillen's World, Oni Guillen was talking about Boone and sticking up for him. I was yelling at the screen while he was recording. Like, no, come on, man. But that's his opinion. That's what makes us great. He'll disagree with me all, and that's fine. I don't totally disagree with what he said. I disagree with some of it. But that's why I've started this. Because, guys, the news media is fake. If this has not been proven now, I don't know how much more you need to see that these guys are not giving their truth. They're scared to give their truth. They can't do it. They're covering
it from a biased perspective.
So and at the end of the day, never change what we do. This is who we are. We are. Yeah. This is why Sheffield said it. He's like, this is why I literally joined because I need a place where I can be me and not get in trouble
without repercussions.
And again, I don't want to go into much of what happened, how we got Ozzy in here, but one of the big problems were sometimes you're not allowed to speak what you really want. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh no, here, please, whatever you want,
say
go.
Whatever you want.
For an example. If Francis came on here, or Felix, you can argue, maybe some of his characters, some people might be a little offensive when it's not. It's making fun of everybody.
It's a joke.
It's comedy. It's a joke. Going in, we all know that. But somebody might come out one day and go, that was so offensive to me, and they might have 300,000 followers and blast the shit out of us. Mm-hmm. I'm the boss. So you know what I'm going to say? Fuck off. He'll be on Thursday at 5 or whenever the hell it's going to be.
Thursday morning.
That's it.
Check him.
Because check him out. If somebody came on here was blatantly racist or evil, I'd be like, bro, whoa. Blatantly. That's different. Blatantly. That shit's different. But one thing we're always going to have here, and this is what makes us different than the other guys who are doing this. And I'm not taking shots at those guys. They have their own thing. God bless them. But we here will always give you our truth. It's what we're created on. Real talk for the real fan. It's very simple. If your truth is different than mine, that's fine.
That's okay.
That's okay. Shout out there to Rob Thompson. We appreciate it, man. And he said facts plus tax. That's how we do it over here.
Family.
That's how we do it over here. But I just want to say that again because the Madden thing that he put out, if that is true,
that's crazy.
It's insane. I mean, I almost want to sit here and be like, yeah, ESPN needs to suspend this dude. They won't, but I'm just like, wait. Where are you involved? Like, you're a journalist, my man. Reporting it factually. Who are you?
At what point is are there lines that are crossed? I mean, in terms of integrity, where does that come out. I mean, it just, to me, it's just like, okay, like how could, if that is true, it's like,
and I keep saying if it is true because it's not 100% proven fact. I don't know why Madden would have to lie, but
yeah, I mean, he's a Hall of Fame writer we're talking about, and that's why.
So I'm just saying,
I've been
if it is,
to
we're gonna go with a grain of salt here and say if it is true. Everything I'm saying is based off if it is true.
Yeah, the
Jeff
fact that the
got
possibility.
balls. He got balls, and he should apologize. If it comes out in real, he needs to apologize and keep his shit away.
What I want to know is what's taking so long to respond. I know he's seen it. I know he's seen it by now.
Have you checked if he responded?
I haven't. I went to his
page. I can
pull up and see. Let me go again. I went to his page. That was earlier. But let's see now.
Because I'm sorry, if that was me, yeah, I'm rebuffing that one pretty quickly. I'm fighting
right
back
away.
on
Yeah,
that.
because right away. Nah, I haven't seen anything at all today. Nothing at all today. Nothing at all. So you can't. I mean, I don't know. It's just, I'm saying, like, it doesn't look good. Now, yes, of course, he could eventually respond tomorrow and say, "Oh, I mean, this is absolute bullshit" or whatever. It's like, yeah, okay, Mom, you could say, "I don't know what you were doing all day Sunday that you couldn't take 2 minutes out to say, I see what's going around. That's not true." But yeah, I don't know, man. If this is true, it's like, I mean, listen, man, we look to you as a non-biased reporter of this game, as one of the best doing it right now. And it's like, I don't want to hear your bias come through in your reporting. Yes, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you can't have an opinion, because we just said, like, our whole thing is based on having opinions. Right. But fairness is important. And I think that's something that even we do. As much as some of you want to kill us and say, "Oh, you guys are like that one dude, like, oh, all they do is shit on Boone or whatever." Yeah, we shit on Boone and we go after Boone or whatever. But when Boone does something right or does something good, we're the first people in here the next episode saying, "Hey, Boone actually did the right thing here, or he actually did a good thing here, or a good thing there." Whatever. So don't give me that, because fair is fair. And if there's one thing that Pete and I have always been since we started this shit, it's fair with players, managers, owners, everybody. Now, if this shit is true, that's just not fair, bro.
It's
not fair. It's not fair.
It's not right. You're not part of this negotiation, man. You're completely on the outside looking in, and fans are coming to you for legitimate information.
We want to know the truth.
That's it. And look, people do want the truth and everything. Yeah. I mean, look, the sad thing is that some people feel like, well, if I give the truth, it's gonna hurt somebody. It's the truth. Yeah,
but the truth is the truth.
It's the truth, man. And
it's like that's what people look. It's not about what people want. It's about what people deserve. Well, Francis, in reality, people deserve the truth.
Look, we base decisions too off of fan reaction. Yeah. So we've had talks in our chat about, well, when the season begins, what are we going to do to work the podcast and how are we going to make it work for the fans? Because they're not going to want to tune in at 7:00 when it's a ball game. I don't want to tune in then. Because
we're going to watch the ball game.
Yeah, we're going to have live pregame shows, live post. So we want it to be fair that everybody could still go back and watch. But is it going to be premiere? Is it not? What time? But we do that because we don't just say we just want to get a show out. We say we want to capitalize on when fans are going to want to watch, how they're going to watch. We're going to get feedback on things like that. Like Vince McMahon said too, every show he has, it's easy to make decisions because he has a focus group. He has a 25, 30,000 focus group every single night. So that's how they could base their decisions off of things. And I mean, that was just a great interview, but to end off and then go into our tweet of the week, the Jeff Passan thing is terrible. If it's true, it's really, really bad. And honestly, I'll say this. I want to see how that man reacts to adversity because he's very quick to shit on everybody else when they got an issue.
Yeah.
So he's Mr. Righteous, apparently. Don't seem too righteous right there, my friend.
I want to see how fans react to it because...
Oh, they're already saying he's slaying and good for him. And I've seen... if you look in the comments on the Madden's thing, it's kind of disgusting. That's
fucking crazy because it's like you're the same people who are like, bring baseball back. We need baseball back or whatever. The emails like that aren't going to help that call. Emails like that will get baseball canceled for the entire season.
Yep. Hey, and emails are a very scary thing to be sending because they don't go away.
They don't.
Somebody could easily leak it.
Just ask Hillary Clinton.
God damn, man. Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry. It was right at the rim. I had to.
Jeff Passan, get the bleach bit. Bleach bit, Passan. Somebody said Passan the bleach bit.
Passon is coming at me, man.
Oh yeah, he gonna kill you now. Forget it. That was like
dare
a
you.
really bad thing to say. You're
How
done,
dare
Passon.
you speak about Queen Hillary?
Oh man, now we're gonna have there's gonna be memes of you be like another victim from Passon.
Oh man,
Oh shit.
I'm gonna be another body.
You're gonna be another body for Passon.
I'm shaking in my boots.
I know, right? Come on now. All right, guys, let's jump to the tweet of the week. And the tweet of the week, let me make sure I pause that so everybody can see it. It's from LIRR to City, which is, of course, the Long Island Railroad. I'm assuming.
Yes.
It's exactly that, to City Field. And
City Field, yep. Mets fan.
after this lockout, I never want to hear anything from MLB about how Pete Rose or Barry Bonds disrespected the game. That's like a mic drop.
Yeah. Yep.
And Francis picked this one, so at LIRR to City, great job on that tweet. You made it on the show. We're going to definitely tag you later in this. Usually I do it before, but with the live, we kind of, we're kind of on the move. Yeah. But I love it. I'm behind it 100%.
Listen, I saw that tweet and I was like, damn, I can't like this shit enough. Again, right. Make no mistake about it. When I think I don't want to speak for this gentleman, but when I read it, I'm not looking at it as just the owners or like I'm looking at it as MLB in general. Major League Baseball, the league part means a league between two entities. And those two entities are the Players Association and the owners.
Yep. So
the league can never make a statement about disrespecting the game of baseball after the shit that we've seen right now with this lockout and these negotiations. And like you said, there's not really much to say on it. That's a mic drop right there. Don't give me that disrespecting the game shit and you're putting fans through what you're putting us through since freaking December.
That's a great
where we could
have
we could have
that's a tweet of the month.
We could have had some of the best off-season trades, free agent signings, all types of shit. We got nothing.
Look at the off-season is happening in too. Everybody was so pumped about this class. Who cares now?
Now, who gives a shit?
Who cares?
Nobody. I mean,
because even if you think about it, if
you're a Rangers fan, you're okay. If you're a Mets fan, you're okay. But like
Mariners, you got a couple of clubs out there. That's like we did a good job. But think about it though, too, man. Like after all this is done, it's almost going to be such a short period between free agency and game time that everybody's going to forget.
It's not. Here's the thing: when you're people like us, content creators, and you're in this game. It's going to be impossible for us to cover everything that deserves coverage.
That's right.
Before games start.
Oh yeah.
Like literally, there's going to be moves. There are going to be moves that are made. Like if the off season was going like a normal off season, we would have been able to deep dive into moves like where Chris Bryant ends up and why that's a good thing for that team or a bad thing for that team or whatever. At this point, we don't even freaking know if like a Chris Bryant signing is even something that we'll have time to discuss because the games might be happening already. Yeah, and we'd have to be discussing like in-game activity for the team that we actually cover, that being the Yankees. So Chris Bryant might not be able to be on the radar for a show like that. Whereas if we were having an off season where there were no games up until this point, we would have been able to discuss everything. Where Bryant ends up, where Story ends up, where Correa ends up, where Rodon ends up, where everything. The same way we were doing before. Yep. When Robbie Ray went to Seattle, when Seager and Simeon signed with the Rangers and Frazier got traded to Seattle. Like we were talking about all this stuff or whatever. Now it's going to be freaking condensed into God knows how long of a time, 3 weeks probably.
It's really disgraceful, man. It really is.
And it's like, it's and again, I still want to let you people know, the longer this goes, the more my theory that I had maybe a month ago is just going to become true. Carlos Correa is not going to have a team on opening day.
Wow. Very possible.
He's not going to have a team.
Yeah, the longer it goes, you're right. It's very possible.
If you only have 3 weeks to get a deal, look at how long it takes to get. Look at how long it took Corey Seager to get the $30 million.
Unless there's been some shit, I know.
Everybody
believes that there's still conversations going on. Obviously, I think you got to be ignorant if you don't believe that.
Which there probably is. Because at the end
no
of the day,
doubt about it. But
there's just no way.
But still,
even
exactly. We don't know how those are even going. So it might still be like I'm still stuck at 250. What the hell's going on here? No, before this switched agents
happened,
for a reason.
Exactly. And who's the agent who drags out negotiations longer than any other freaking agent?
Scotty boy.
Boris. And you think Boris is gonna tell Correa no, it behooves us to sign quickly here because no, he's gonna be like, fuck that, Carlos. You're in the best shape of your life. You're coming off a platinum glove. You're gonna be just fine. Don't worry. It might take a little bit longer than 2-3 weeks. So opening day is gonna roll around, and we might not have a team yet. But don't get alarmed. Don't just be patient. You know, you'll get it. Trust me, he's gonna be talking to him, unless Carlos is literally gonna push back on him and say, "I don't give a damn how you do it. I want to be on a team before opening day." I don't see him on a team before opening, because it's a $350 million contract. Those don't get negotiated overnight. They don't. They're too big. There's too many little nuanced things like, oh, I want this incentive, that incentive, or whatever. These things take weeks. And it's not like he's only going to visit one team. I mean, now we know one team who's probably not going to be in it that we thought was going to be in it, which was the Angels.
You know, that actually makes a little bit of sense now. Wompbag just said it in the comment section. I'm still I don't believe this would happen, but he said, so maybe he just takes a 1-year deal with the Astros real quick and then gets right back on the open market for a huge contract with bigger salary implications.
Let me tell you something. Where I saw it at the beginning of the offseason, I said, hell no, there's no way.
Now it's almost like maybe a little bit logical. Maybe there's a little logic behind that.
At this point, I don't think anything makes more sense. If you're Carlos Correa and you want to be on a team by opening day, I think that's the way to go. You circle back to Houston.
How old is he? 26? 27?
27.
Yeah, so who the hell cares? You're 27 or 28.
He'd be going in 28. I mean, the only thing that will be literally on the back of his mind all year is like, yo, I cannot get hurt this year. I cannot get hurt this year. I cannot get hurt. Which is the danger. And
it's a risk.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing that makes it risky. Boris gonna let him do that? Is Boris gonna let him sign a 1-year deal?
That's not a Boris thing to do.
When he's in line to become the richest shortstop ever.
Not a Boris thing to do.
Now, does want make sense? Of course. Pete agrees. I agree. I think the most logical thing is if he wants to be on a team by opening day, take a 1 year, go back to
quickly,
Houston.
and you're trying to get shit done and say, you know what?
You don't got to change anything. You don't got to change anything. You know the team. They know you. Just
maybe the Yankees weren't interested for this reason. Now they got 230. Now they got 235.
Exactly.
Maybe they will be. Aaron Judge falls off. I'm just saying. I'm just talking about mindsets here.
Exactly.
All that stuff, and that's the thing. But
I'd be surprised, but hey,
you never know. Guys. So tomorrow is Monday, of course. Right down there, you see the pop-up for NYYST. They will be tomorrow at 7 o'clock, as you guys know, the regular time. They do air early for the podcast on Apple and on the website. But, guys, just a couple of quick, brief things before we wrap up here again. I just want to say thank you to everybody who has been in here today. New subscribers, thank you so much. Make sure you check out NyynewsTV.com. Check out all the new merch we have in there. Get your girl some stuff. There's the women's section now. There's the kids section. We're adding more and more as we go. Again, exclusives are going to be on there very soon. I'll be fair, closer to the start of the season, we have a better idea of what's going on. That's when a lot of that stuff will pop off. There's a lot of designs we're working on right now. Apple Podcast, again, guys, please, 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 if you have an iPhone, please, it's that simple, man. Go to Apple Podcast, type in NYY News TV, give 5s across the board. You are seeing my fiance right now. She's putting all those links in there again. So one more time before you guys leave, go ahead and do that if you have not. We appreciate it. It truly helps the show. And subscribe to this page because you never want to miss what we do. Again, when the season begins, we got so much for you guys. Live pregame shows, live postgame shows, so much work being put in behind the scenes on all that stuff. That you guys are going to get to see once the season begins. And just so much overall. The podcast is going to be very exciting. We're going to be appearing on each other's podcast and things like that even more. So a great time to be a fan, I would say. In a sense of content, because what we could do, but not in like baseball sense. Kind of sucks right now. But
well, we got you guys, man. We show up every week. We're ready to play.
We are. We're ready. We're ready to play. So put us in, coach. And we will be ready to play ball. But Francis, with the wonderful tagline, as always.
Y'all already know. Please like, please subscribe, please share, do all that.
Instagram right there, NyynewsPete. Instagram, the link is there. Go follow us.
There you go. Hit the Instagram. Please subscribe, follow, like the post, share the post, do it all. Keep it locked. Stay tuned because the next episode is always the best episode.
And will never come at the whack on the Designated Spittaz track.
That's a fact.
That's a fact.
Come on.
All right, guys. We will talk to you next time. Thank you for tuning in to a live Designated Spittaz. Until next time, adios.
Before it hits the front page.